Good evening and welcome to the Kalihi Valley Neighborhood Board number 16 meeting on Thursday, 12/2025 at 7:02 p.m. Rules of speaking. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to click the raise hand icon and when recognized by the chair to address comments to the chair. Speakers are encouraged to keep their comments under 2 minutes and those giving reports are encouraged to keep their reports under 3 minutes. Please ensure your microphone is muted unless you are speaking. Please state your first and last name for the record before moving into your comments or question. Written testimony may also be submitted via email using the contact information listed on the Neighborhood Commission Office website. Please silence all electronic devices now, or you can put it on airplane mode. Note that the board may take action on any agenda item as required by the State Sunshine Law, Hawaii Revised Statutes, Chapter 92. Specific issues not listed on this agenda cannot be voted on unless properly added to the agenda. And find archive of handouts and reference materials concerning the Kalihi Valley Neighborhood Board number 16 at our Google Drive. First on the agenda, City Monthly Report, Honolulu Fire Department. I believe they are not here in person nor online, so we can table them if they on, or is that, it's HB.
Yeah, Sergeant.
He's up next. If fire department is not here, we will move on to fire department and move to Honolulu Police Department.
No, he's muted.
Oh, I can't unmute.
So sorry.
I can't actually. Oh, I didn't mute.
You're still mute.
I can't unmute.
Okay, there we go.
See, he unmuted himself. I didn't touch it.
Okay, it's still showing that you're mute. I'm so sorry. Okay,
how
there
about
we
now?
go.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
I can hear you. Thank
Hello,
you.
good evening. I'm Sergeant Tabanera with District 5, Kalihi area, and I'm working First Watch. So I want to provide with you guys the stats for May 2025. What we have right now, we have aggravated assaults. For the month of May, we're at 1. Auto thefts, we're at 2, which is down from last month. Actually, down from April by 1. We are at 3 for burglaries, which is down from April from 5 to 3. We are up in robberies, which is 2 for the month of May. Any type of sexual assault or rape type of cases, we are at 0 for the month of May, which is always good. That type of situations. Our simple assaults are up from 4 this month compared to 2 in April. And then our thefts are also up this month to 7 compared to 4 from last month. And our vehicle break-ins are unauthorized entry to motor vehicles are down from 2 in April to 1 in May. We have a total service calls of 685 for the month of April, which is similar to what we had in April. Other than that, any questions from the board or anyone from the community?
Thank you. Any questions on the board online?
Wait, sorry, hold on.
Oh.
LT.
Lieutenant Yamashita from District 5, also Night Watch. Just wanted to remind you guys that we have a Coffee with a Cop event coming up. It was scheduled for the 13th, but it has been changed now to June 27th. So June 27th, Friday, Coffee with a Cop. It's gonna be held at the Liliha McDonald's located at 414 North School Street. And the event will be held from 9 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you guys have time, come out, talk story, and build a relationship with the police officers. Again, Friday, June 27th, Liliha McDonald's, 414 North School Street, from 9 to 11.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions from the board online or in person? Mr. Sung?
Before we get to the main subject of everyone's top of mind, my question is, we have a Christmas parade coming in Kalihi every year. Do you guys participate with parades, and would you be willing to participate with a float or something?
So I believe our community policing team does participate in the Christmas parades. What day is this again?
We'll find out and get more details for you, but we're just wondering. And then, and then my last thing is, because of everything that's going on in the community, especially in Kalihi, trying to figure out if it's possible to get one kid with the parents to participate with your float. Someone who's good, as a reward. You think that'd be possible?
Yeah, I think once again with that in mind, yeah, we can collaborate with our CPT, which is our community policing team, and then we can see what actually we can actually do as far as participation. I know a lot of times we're handling the security of the event, a lot of the traffic control for the event, but as far as our district, we can double check with our CPT units to see if they are available to participate or adding a float or maybe a vehicle within the parade.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Rojas?
Yes, officer, I have a question. I was walking at Chinatown this morning, and I realized that there's a team. It's a patrol team. They wear orange, and I don't know how they conducted it all the time. But I was just passing by. I was pretty surprised, and I like the part where they had patrols that they would walk around. Because I asked them a couple questions. I said, would you guys mind addressing urine smell around the corner? But they mentioned to me that there was only a patrolling. So I was wondering how do we establish a patrol team in Kalihi Valley?
I'm not too sure which officers that you were encountering with, because I know in Chinatown we do have fourth watch officers, and those are brand new officers that are completed their field training program, and then at that point before they get assigned to a district, they're around Chinatown and Waikiki, and they're walking around. So I'm not too sure if that's who you encountered as far as that are walking around as a patrol unit. And they also have the neighborhood board in Chinatown. I think the association, they also have officers that are working there on overtime in the evenings that are also patrolling in that area. So I'm not too sure which officers, if you were encountering a normal patrol officer that's assigned on a regular work shift or someone that's a special assignment. As far as having some type of unit here, that once again, we will have to probably defer to our commanders if we have available units or any type of staffing that could support something to that nature. But maybe LT Yamashita could kind of touch up on that.
No, so is that like a citizens patrol you're talking about, or is that uniformed officers?
Yes, Lieutenant. It's a citizens patrol with an escort of, I believe there was police officers. So
Okay,
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, so I know other districts, they do have citizens patrols, and we also do our community policing team. Actually, when they're available, they actually do walk with certain groups in certain areas with the neighborhood watch, it's called, and they do to go out monthly with them, and they do walks with them.
Yeah, I think I asked the question to the officers, and also as far as the citizen group. I asked them if there was part of like a neighborhood watch or anything like that. No, it said it was a specific patrol. So I think that would benefit our community as far as a lot of things going on here. Looking at the norm, that's what's happening here. If you could, a way to establish some kind of like a patrol team that whoever wants to whoever wants to volunteer or be part of our community patrol in Kalihi Valley in different areas, I think that would be great.
Yeah, so like I said, our community policing team does do walks with the neighborhood watches with you guys. I believe Sergeant Martinez and Sergeant Owatu is in charge of those.
So I was just wondering if it was separate from, separated from, neighborhood watch, versus I'm pretty sure they had a T-shirt that says, it was a community patrol, and was escorted by the HPD. So I was very happy to see that, and I would love to see that here in Kalihi Valley, and also Kalihi. Why not? I mean, it's a whole thing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Contact. Should I come straight to the police station, or what's a way of us establishing something, Lieutenant?
Well, that would basically be our community policing team. You can reach out to Sergeant Owato regarding those.
Thank you.
But I think maybe you guys should, if you guys do create some type of neighborhood watch, neighborhood board, and then you can reach out to them saying that you guys have already established one, or are you asking if you need help to establish one? So that if that's the case, then yes, you would have to reach out to Sergeant Owato to see if they know any type of ways for you guys to establish some type of neighborhood watch or neighborhood patrol.
I believe you guys already do have one though,
Yeah.
right? You guys,
We do have, but it's just the way I seen it was.
you guys wanted an
There's a
additional.
different-
You guys wanted an additional
Yeah.
neighborhood watch on top of
No,
what
no,
you
no,
already
it's
have.
I would say a different team.
Yeah.
So would be a patrol. Patrol is just patrolling. That's why I asked the individuals and also whoever I seen, that organization that I seen this morning. It was at first I mentioned to them if are they looking through and then seeing to see if there's anything that they need to address in the community, or anything while they're patrolling. But it's just it's a certain type of patrolling. So I think I like that.
Okay. We'll have to try and follow up with the District 1 Chinatown substation and find out what that was, because like I said, we do have the neighborhood watch that the officers do patrol with. In order to create another task force, you probably would have to reach out to Sergeant Owato regarding that. For a patrol unit, you're talking about an additional patrol unit you're talking about, right? Creating.
Just a patrol unit, yeah, because they have a T-shirt that says patrol. So if you're walking on the street and you see patrol compared to neighborhood watch, it's totally different.
Uh-huh. So it's one
Like-
officer and how many citizens? How many
three
neighborhood?
officers. There was about maybe five of them wearing orange
5 officers,
orange T-shirts, and it says patrol.
5 police officers.
Three, and then five
Three.
citizen community.
5 citizens. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try to reach out to my community policing team and see what that is exactly, and see if maybe we can. Is there an email or something he can reach you at?
No, I was just passing by, and then I stopped and and I addressed the, what was the purpose of the patrol? Is it neighborhood watch, or is it a special watch? But when I seen the T-shirt, it said patrol, so then I said, oh, what are you guys doing? We're patrolling.
Yes, but is there an email my sergeant can actually reach back to you regarding this?
Oh, my email? Yes. You can email our chair here, Lei Tombala. And
Okay, I'll
also,
have an email the chair.
Yeah.
It should be on the agenda as well, or on the NCO website.
I'll have him email you guys regarding that.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
Okay.
I believe, thank you so much. And a community member, yeah, you can come up. Let's see. Yeah, you can bring up a chair, and yeah, as long as you're facing the.
Yes, my name is Rupati Liwal. I'm with the Farrington Alumni Community Foundation, also our Native Mount Pastoral Council Chair. And so, my thing was, as far as safety in Kalihi Valley, I guess the bus line. So walking on that street past the water station in front of the pink store area, it's I don't think the residents, not the residents, the drivers are following the speed limit. I almost got banged this past Monday, and I was accused of it was my fault just crossing the street on the crosswalk, and then that driver had the red light. Yeah, and so just stuff like that, it's not safe, but they're not following the speed limit, so I don't know how we can control that part, for that. Road rage is increasing a lot, I noticed that. So we filed a report on a road rage, right here by Farrington area. Wasn't our fault, but I just don't know how, as far as law enforcement getting information out there to the community, or maybe having a community fair or some sort kind of thing. I know when I was at Farrington, we had events that will inform the students, also the parents, to kind of, because there's a lot of new people to Kalihi, right? They don't understand they don't know the laws and how things work here in Kalihi, so that's not their fault. I think, just some stuff that happened before is no longer here, like community events. So with the fire station and with the police station and whatever law enforcement we have in Kalihi, is there a way that we can have like some kind of community awareness fair activity, like something to kind of let them know, be safe on the road. We used to have Drive Aloha, and then, all those other stuff. And what he's talking about with the neighborhood watch, we used to call that the night watchers, yeah, like night marchers, right? And so we had a whole lot of people that was in to kind of protect our community. So my mom that was very active and one of those who wanted to get out there. The Samoan community was active, and because the police officers came and talked to them at church, right? And I think that's one way we can get people involved. That way, we got to go out there and we got to listen to them. Yeah, so I don't see that a lot. There's no connection between the safety and the community, letting them know what's going on and how to behave, out in public and so forth. And so I just wanted to bring that up. Like it's sad because I'm 39. Imagine if there's a nana and a tata that's walking out there. A lot of the elderly are walking out on the streets, and people that don't know how to behave. It's not your fault as a HPD officer. I think it's something that we can do as a community to kind of get that information out there to people, how to behave, or how to, just show aloha more on out in public or out on the street. Yeah, and then just to answer to what Mr. Soon asked about that KBA parade, that's actually Mr. Dana Yap. He's the coordinator of that parade, who sits here, right? So that's the Kalihi Business Association parade, and it's always a Black Friday, which is after Thanksgiving. Kalihi is the first parade to have a Christmas parade in the state of Hawaii. Us and Kaimuki, we're one of the two that starts the parade. So I'm shocked that it's not that this board knows, or maybe they do know, but that's something that I've held on to because that's very important to our KBA, is the Kalihi Business Association. I do see HP on there. Do we still have the VC program?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do we have the Weed and Seed program?
Yes, we still do have weed and seed program.
Okay, so I'm not sure if the community knows this, but that's something that we can also tap into to kind of keep our community safe as far as drugs being into our community. I think that's, the guns are yes, but there's the other drugs that also has to be addressed to as well. So the Weed and Seed program is another program that we use at Farrington High School, where we have lunch activities. Yeah, I would call the Weed and Seed program to come on campus, and so I think we have to reestablish our relationship with the schools as well, not just outside the community, but especially at Farrington. Kalihi, we're proud to be Farringtonians. Yeah, there's a lot of governors in Kalihi, and so with that, I think we have to establish that relationship back with Farrington High School so we can get things going. But I appreciate the officers, your time and what you guys are doing out there. I think you guys are being stretched real thin with all these crimes that's going on in our community, but we can help as much as we can, so we're here to help.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Mr. Gatti?
Yeah, following up on the pedestrians on Kalihi Street. I've noticed similar things where and at night it's very dark there. There's no sidewalks. It seems like there's often sort of accidents that are almost happening just because of poor visibility, as well as people going too fast. mean, obviously speed limit's a problem, but then, or speeding's a problem, but the visibility is just really bad, period. I have seen on the mainland some places that have solar powered, like motion activated crosswalks, with lights. So when people are crossing on the crosswalks, it actually lights up at night. Is there any possibility of something like that? Because it really is a pretty dangerous road for pedestrians because of the lack of sidewalks and how fast that road is.
Whereas our city council.
Yeah. So, that should be going to the city council.
Yeah.
Probably.
Or
Yeah,
city
right,
officials.
right. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, we can bring it to them.
But as far as the speeding, I mean,
Yeah, speeding's the other issue. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, so what we could do is we could probably see if we can put one of our speed trailers out there. It just if we have one available, we could probably put it out there. But also when we do utilize those speed trailers, we do utilize like parking that we will take up space of. We'll take up parking that's utilized along that street also. So there's kind of like a give and take. So if the community kind of is interested in that, I can probably figure out to see with our CPT. Or along with our lieutenants, if we do have a speed trailer that's available and is not currently being used in other areas, then we could probably put it there to kind of give the drivers more information, like because it blinks, right, and it gets their attention. Maybe we could utilize that as one of the safety concerns to assist with the drivers being notified about their speed limits. Also, as far as the community awareness, try to reach out to our traffic division. I know when I was a solo bike officer in traffic, we used to come out and do a lot of say hi's in events that communities hold. So you just got to request if there's any available traffic enforcement unit or any type of traffic officer who are well vested in our traffic laws and our traffic safety, if they can come out and have a little talk or kind of come out, and they'll come out with their unit, and they'll maybe talk about some pedestrian safety, some traffic safety, traffic awareness. But like anything else, it's all based upon the availabilities of the officers. But you could also kind of reach out to our traffic division, who kind of does that throughout the island. Actually, they'll go out and do different events if it's they're available.
Thank you. Oh, Mr. Kumla?
Yeah, okay. Mr. Gotti, you're talking about Kalihi Valley where there's no sidewalks.
Yeah, that's
That's
the big problem.
Yeah,
That's why I say-
perhaps
Yeah.
there's no sidewalks for the pedestrians. You either gotta walk on the side of the road, and you're gonna car parking over there, you gotta step on the road to continue your.
Particularly at night, it's really.
Right. Well, my comment on that, and I'm a pedestrian myself, and when I need to step on the road and I see one car coming down, I look at the car, I don't know if the car is looking at me, but if the car is not stopped and I step on the road, I'm gonna assume I won't get hit. Until the guy stop and tell me go, that's when I go. I never stop, walk in front of a moving vehicle. I would just assume I will get hit. And I don't know, we gotta give the car the right of way, because, what? Oh, okay. Yeah, as a pedestrian, I am the bottom of the food chain, I'm gonna get eaten. So I give the car the assumption that he never see me until he stop and wave me over.
Well, not everyone is nice as you.
Oh, that's not wise. That's getting clipped and all that. I'm a driver too. I behave crazy on the road, so anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Colors reporting a group of juveniles beating her husband, no weapon.
I'm sorry.
Did you want to?
no, I think overall in that sidewalk, I think it's owned by the Board of Water Supply. I don't know why they didn't give us a right for our sidewalk there, because it's on the pumping station, right? So maybe we can ask the city or Board of Water
What
Supply.
area? What area is that we're talking about? The speeding? You guys have a cross street? Is Kalihi Street and
It's like around the ditch somewhere like that.
Nalani,
Kalihi Nalanieha?
There is a T.
reporting of
Okay.
saying that
Yes. So like the sergeant said, maybe we can do a speed trailer in the area, but like you said, it's going to utilize parking. Yeah, it's going to take up the parking, but we also can request from our community policing teams to see if we can do like a sign waving event or something over there. If you guys are interested in that, but I'll try to reach out to Sergeant Owato and see if we can get something like that going. Kalihi, Nalani, yeah, you guys said.
Yes, thank you. And Mr. Lualemaga, the question is.
Yeah, the question, I know our last board meeting that we had, there were some ladies that came and complained about the speeding on Like right before the overpass. I don't know, what are your plans for that, or does the station have officers that they can stage there, maybe like Monday, Wednesday, Friday? It seems like they're speeding in the morning and they're speeding in the evening. So I don't know,
Okay, so
would another speed thing would help there to?
Well, in the evening in particular, because that's when
Yeah.
the visibility.
okay, so this
Right.
for this month, the past couple of weeks, our officers were out there doing projects, and they gave over 20 speeding citations this month already. I monitored the intersection of Kalihi and School, and the vehicles have slowed down significantly with the speed cams over there now. Guys are actually slowing down. When it first came out, you could see the guys are going really fast, and the lights kept flashing. They kept flashing for the license plate, but now you can see that it's curbed it a lot where speeding. They don't speed as fast anymore, and I think the last 3 weeks our officers went out and they gave over 20 citations for speeding in that areas. So that's what we've done so far.
Yeah. But that area doesn't have the sort of pedestrian problem. I mean, it really feels like on the Kalihi Street where this speeding, someone's going to end up dead.
Yeah.
You know, it's just because you can't. And even if the road's narrow and people are driving fast, you can't. Even people not on the road, it's like when you're trying to avoid the car coming at you, and you can't really see the pedestrians walking alongside the road. You could easily just hit someone accidentally, because you can barely see people at night that are walking along the side of the road. But
Are there any more questions from the board? Mr. Koga?
Oh, just kind of FYI for board members, for you guys who are around, but the Department of Transportation Services was supposed to do a study for speeding on Kalihi Street between the LA station and the school. But we never heard back from them as to what the results were. And number two, we had made a request 2 years ago with the city council, and it was approved by the council and the mayor to do sidewalk improvements from about Monty Street to Taolani. Once again, I don't know, somebody forgot at the city.
yeah, sidewalk would help a lot.
No, I guess we gotta bring them all. Okay.
If there are, thank you. If there are no more questions, then I do want to say thank you, HPD. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
And I see that Honolulu Fire Department is here. Is that correct? Are you guys Fire Department? Okay. So we're going back to Honolulu Fire Department for their report.
Hi, my name is Captain Eric Papiano with Kalihi Fire Station.
Should you be on track?
Oh, pardon me, yeah,
Could you be
would you like
here?
to sit
Oh,
So
down?
that way we can see you on the camera.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Alright. You guys are all facing this way, so.
So they can hear you.
Captain Papiano, Kalihi Fire Station. Fairly new captain here, started in the new year in February. This will be my first neighborhood board meeting. So last month, I believe there was a recess, so we skipped a month. So I'll catch you up on our stats. For April, there was 1 brush fire and 65 medical incidents and 1 motor vehicle crash collision. For May, we had 1 structure fire. That was the one on Kalihi Street in the valley. We had 1 nuisance rubbish fire. We had 65 medical incidents and another. So those are the stats. If you're interested in more details on incidents and related information, you can always visit the website. which is fire.honolulu.gov. So that's a good resource for you. There's always a lot of information if you're interested. And if you have any questions, we have our HFD Public Affairs and Media Liaison. It's available hfdnhb@honolulu.gov, but I'm also open to any questions that you would have. I'll open that up for you now. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask us.
Any questions from the board, online in person? Seeing, and, Mr. Rojas?
The accident, what was, the person who got into an accident, is it from the community or outside the community?
Those are details that I don't really have. In terms of the stats that they give us, it just is, it doesn't give specifics, it just gives like a total for the community for the month. And then, yeah, depending on who comes to your neighborhood board, they may or may not have gone to the incident because we have 3 different watches that rotate. So it just depends on that, but that one I don't have the details for. And even with the stats, I'm not even sure we would know whether they were, that's not a good part of the questioning, I guess. Even for maybe for HPD, I'm not sure if they're trying to find out if they actually live in the community or not. They're more concerned with.
Yeah, no, well, I guess we're just looking at to see, like, is the people here, curious about being safety, or, it's another, vehicle that's passing by that got into an accident in our area,
Right, I mean,
trying to look at that statistic.
Yeah, so I mean, there are major thoroughfares that go through, Kalihi area.
That's right.
So it probably is a mix. It could be, yes.
Did you report to the structure fire? Were you part of that?
I was. Yes.
How many ladder trucks were there? It seemed like there was like 3 or 4 of them.
There was 2, I believe.
On that narrow road. I'm surprised you were able to fit all those vehicles there.
Well, we have to have a certain complement for every structure fire, yeah. And so we have what we call alarms, so first alarm, second alarm. But if there is a working building fire, it probably will be at least 2 alarms, which it's better to have more. And then, we can always release people rather than play catch up and want more, but they're not there.
But you guys did a good job for the most part, the building's still there. It looks like it's just on the inside and the windows are all blown out.
Yes, so there was significant fire damage, although structurally the building is still what looks to be viable. I'm not a structural engineer, but we did our best to catch it as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Are there any more questions from the board, online in person? Any questions from the community? Yes.
Okay. A while back, we had a little tiny fire unite by a tree and electrical wires on that same corner.
Okay.
Is there a new rule now that the private owners are supposed to take care of the trees that are affected by the electrical lines? Does that make sense?
In terms of, I guess, you're talking about grooming the tree?
Well, yeah, in the past, Hawaiian Electric used to always keep it clear.
Okay, so is
And
it,
I just heard rumored that it might be the other way around.
I guess it depends if it's on the private property or not, or if it's actually overhanging on the road, but
Yeah,
I
it used to even be on private property that they would clear
right.
a path.
So that one, if it's on private property, probably have you call Kiko because they would be the resource if they used to do it. In terms of the rules of it, that I do not know.
Yeah, no, I just saw it go up and luckily you guys saw it. I don't know how you guys saw it, but.
So, yeah, that one would be tricky. If it's overhanging on public space, then I'm not sure how that would be addressed.
Okay.
That might be public works or possibly, and then it could be depending on how they view.
Public works is different.
Like city and county public works, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they respond normally to down trees, besides us, but like, or if you're getting ready for hurricane season, they'll try and clear canals and cultures.
There was a sign up for, I guess about, I don't know, it seemed like about a month, saying that it was gonna cut trees and nothing happened.
Okay.
So I didn't know.
That one I'm not sure on.
Okay.
Anybody else have a question?
You have any fire safety tips for us? Usually the captains
I
give us a
do.
tip.
I was saving that for the end. That's my big finish.
Okay. Go ahead.
I wasn't gonna be without it. I actually have two for you. We have from May and for June. So the May's let's see. Okay, for the last month, actually it's for fire sprinklers, home fire sprinklers. Not too many people have it, but there is benefit to it. They definitely are our first line of defense against fires and often extinguish the fires before the department really needs to arrive. But that being said, we will always be responding. If you would like more information about that, there's a website, homefiresprinkler.org, which is a good resource if you're interested, or if you just happen to be renovating your house, maybe the extra step might be worth it. Fire spreads quickly. Fire can turn deadly in under 2 minutes, and of course, synthetic materials burn quickly and release deadly and poisonous smoke. High-risk individuals in home fires include small children, elderly adults, and those with disabilities, and pets. Fire sprinklers can protect your home and family and activate automatically to control the fire and give everyone a chance to escape. So, if you, for best protection, having working smoke alarms, fire sprinklers, and an escape plan are all great things to do. Information about our Honolulu ordinances relating to fire safety is available at fire.honolulu.gov. That website for HFD, it's a really good resource. And if you find yourself interested in like nuances and things, it's a good way to spend 5 minutes to learn a little bit more. And then the new one for this one, this month is it's our website. So the Honolulu Fire Department is excited to announce the launch of 2 new public data tools on its official website at fire.honolulu.gov, the Incident Trend Dashboard and the Fire Response Search Tool. So the Incident Trend Dashboard gives residents easy access to 5 years of emergency data by neighborhood, including fire, rescue, medical, and hazardous materials incidents, with interactive maps and charts. The dashboard helps communities better understand emergency trends in their areas. So all of those stats that we're talking about, it's a good resource to be able to look at. The Fire Response Search Tool replaces the previous response mapping tool, which is no longer supported and was recently taken offline. The tool enables individuals and entities to look up specific emergency incidents in which they have an interest in or may have been involved in or affected by. This tool enhances transparency and provides residents with efficient and direct access to incidents in a secure and accessible format. Developed by the Honolulu Fire Department's Planning and Development Division with the help from City and County of Honolulu Po'okela Fellows, intern, these data tools reflect our ongoing commitment to transparency, innovation, and community engagement. To access these tools, please visit fire.honolulu.gov/news-and-info/ and that'll get you some information. And if you can't remember that, just get to our website, fire.honolulu.gov, and you'll be able to navigate through there. Do we have any other questions?
Yep, Mr. Liliamon.
Just thank you for your service and welcome to Kalihi Valley. We promise we won't give you guys a hard time.
That's all good.
Thank you for protecting our ohana that live in
I like the community. We're having a good time. We have a good crew. We're always here, to do our job and to really look out for families and the community. So if you see us wave, we'll always wave back. We do. We get to all the schools. We do static displays. We try and make our presence known in the community. If you have something that you're interested in, go through the website. Here's our community relations. You can always request us, and we'll come. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
We'll invite you to a Christmas parade.
Yeah. All right.
We invited the HPD guys.
Okay, okay.
Actually, you guys are attending, and I know you guys have a float coming. So, that I do know.
All right.
I don't know if you'll be there.
Depends on whose shift.
It's our shift, yeah.
Yeah, it's our shift. Okay, there we go. We'll be working. Okay. That's a little bit of ways, but we'll plan on it.
And if you got a question from Ropasi.
Sorry.
Yes.
So, I know there was a big fire in Kalihi Valley.
Yes.
If that house had your tips that they had, would that house be saved without, I know it was a big fire because there was like a lot of fire trucks passing the house.
Right.
Early that morning, that woke me up. I'm not complaining about that. But if they had your tips that you mentioned, would that save them from a big disaster like that?
I mean, that's kind of, it's a little bit of a loaded question because tips, that's all they are, right? We cannot make somebody do it.
Right.
And not everybody has the financial means to be able to do that, yeah?
Yeah.
But, you know, the information is out there, and for homeowners, there are resources. Could it have made a difference? Possibly.
Right.
I can't say no.
Right.
Definitely, could have.
The only reason why I asked is that going back to the HPD with the community affairs and informational, educational,
Right.
you know, like at least have a fire extinguisher in your house, you know, not everybody knows to have a fire extinguisher in your house, but you know, just something like that too, and you know, you're new, so you don't know.
We absolutely, our community relations program is proactive. If you watch TV, you will see our commercials about having smoke detectors, about having open flames in the house, everything. We have radio ads, and then we also have our websites, and then we do have community engagements where our community relations actually get out there. We have a program to install or help install smoke detectors with the elderly. So there are resources out there to really try and get this word out to help people.
Right.
So
we did have a community fair, you folks would be open to participating.
So the way that you would route it through is through community relations, right?
Okay.
They're the biggest asset for our department in terms of prevention. Because they have like games, they have information packets, they have pamphlets, they have resources that they can point the community to, and they're always willing to interact with everybody.
Thank you.
Can I ask you about the blankets that I've seen advertised, made for stoves? If your stove went on fire, you can use these blankets to just have them on the sidelines to cover your fire. Does that work?
I can't answer that specifically.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
We haven't had any, we don't have those within our arsenal of fire suppression. What I
They
would
looked good.
What I would tell you is to do your due diligence and maybe start looking up reviews, look up the safety ratings on it and see what is, like the pros
But I
and
mean,
cons.
is there a certain kind of fabric that does kind of smother?
We have fire retardant materials out there, and that's obviously what we wear when we go into a fire.
Okay.
Whether that blanket is made of that stuff, I don't.
I got the impression it was made of something that
Yeah.
smothers it.
And so that's always a good thing, right? I mean, covering fire, especially something that's oil-based, like if you're frying food or something. Covering it is gonna be the play versus dumping water on it, which is gonna make it go absolutely.
Interesting.
Right, so, but safety things like that, are available online.
And then one last question, putting a sprinkler system in an older house, is that difficult? Is it like you have to get a plumber and?
As my construction contractor told me, anything is possible. But, but they do cost.
Yeah.
So yes, it is possible to do. It has to fit, what you want to accomplish for your residents. And
But
really,
you're talking about it in each room, to have that system?
that one, You know, I'll be honest, I don't know what would be the most effective in terms of that. You know, your high risk, obviously your high risk areas where your smoke detectors are live, or maybe outside of it and such, but in terms of sprinklers, whoever is installing it is usually going to be the expert. They probably come up with a plan for what you want.
Sounds good.
So you can check that home
Fire.
smoke sprinkler, homefire.sprinkler.org, and you can get much more.
But it's on your website, the connection,
That one,
that link.
that link might not be, I would imagine that it is, but if it isn't, it is homefire.org. And then you can kind of take a look around and see if it fits something that you would like to do for your house. It's definitely a positive, I would say, for sure.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
If there are no more questions, then we do want to thank you for coming in person this evening and presenting in person. Thank you very much. And we can move on to the next item, which is Board of Water Supply. Iris Oda, who's here in person as well.
Thank you.
I'll just sit here. That's all right. Okay. So sorry I'm behind you. Okay. So I'll report a general announcement from would have been at the May meeting. So summer water conservation tips. So the sun is turning up the heat, and summer is just around the corner. It's in now. It's important to ensure that we're saving every drop of water and keep our community strong and sustainable today and for generations to come. So I have a few water conservation tips. So water your plants early in the morning to reduce evaporation. Take shorter showers. Check for toilet leaks. The culprit is usually a faulty flapper, and I'll go over this little dye tablet in a little bit. Don't let the faucet run and run. And then apply for Board of Water rebates on water efficient appliances and systems. So of course, saving water not only conserves our precious resource, but it can also lower your water bill. So go to our boardofwatersupply.com, and you can go type in boardofwatersupply.com/7 ways, or just search it on our website. So that's our May announcement. Oh, sorry. So what I had and I gave out to everybody is, we have these little dye tablets. There's 2 in the packet. You put it into your toilet tank. You let it sit there for about 15 minutes. You check your bowl, so you don't touch it or anything. Look at your bowl. Is it blue? If your toilet bowl became blue, that means you have a leak from your tank into your bowl. So that's probably the flapper that I quickly mentioned. So it's good for 2 toilets in your house. And take more. I left on the table. And yeah, so you get any? I will keep these. There we go. And then, okay, so, and usually I do main breaks. So April we didn't have, so for May I reported on April, there was no main breaks in April. For June, I'm sorry, I had the paper, but I don't know where it is. So I thought I saw one, but I'll have to report that later. But for the general water announcement for this month, so water quality reports. So each year, we mail customers an annual report on the quality and contents of our drinking water. So July 1st, so we'll be providing this report on a biannual basis. So July and December is now. It used to be only once a year, now it's twice a year. You're going to be able to, you'll get it mailed, or you can go online at boardofwatersupply.com for more information. And you can ask for a translated copy. So you can call our communications office at 808-748-5041. So look for this July. If you're with an apartment, you could ask your apartment manager or something. Or I'm hoping that maybe you can go online and put in your address and maybe you can see it. So if you don't see it, when I'm here in July, ask that question again, and I'll probably ask our communications office by then to find out how you can see it when you're in a resident apartment. Okay, so that's just my 2 general announcements. I had a follow-up from a question from Member Sung. You asked a while ago that there was these main breaks a lot on Kalihi Street, or on and around Kalihi Street. So I I don't know if I ever responded, I think that was your
You
question.
responded there was a Kalihi Palama.
Was it Kalihi? Okay, so I responded at the wrong neighborhood board.
Yeah.
So now that I'm at the correct neighborhood board. So there was, at the time, I think this was around January, February, you asked that question. So at the time, back then, there were 3 main breaks in that Kalihi Street area, was near 2821 Kamanai.
It's right in front of the pumping station,
Yeah.
right? You go from the pumping station, it looks like there's 8 breaks going
Yeah.
one direction, and then there's another 8 or so breaks going the other direction.
Okay.
So my question was, are we just gonna wait and repair?
Yeah.
Or are we ever gonna fix the water line?
Well, so they told me that there were, at that time when you asked it, there was just those 3, one was Kamanai Street, Kala Drive, and Dillingham. So that was lower from that area that you're talking about. So I'm not sure why they didn't pick up that, so I'll double check. I'm not sure if I gave them the wrong explanation, because I think I was thinking it was number 15, which is closer to the freeway, if you're asking further up. So I'll have to follow up on that part. But I did also pass out, there is gonna be a North School Street water system improvement project that's kind of in the area. I passed out maps to everybody, if I didn't, I'll get to you. But that project's not coming till 2028. I will have to find out more details on that, but it's, so I just wanted to share that with you. That's in a different neighborhood, right? That's similar.
Some of it is in our
Some is in
area.
your area, okay, sorry, can't see it.
School Street is
School Street.
the bottom of.
So sorry, but since I go to both boards, I'm getting you guys confused. So sorry. But yeah, so I'll check again if there's something closer to the Kalihi Uka station. So sorry about that. Yeah, I'll find out on that question. But even when there is multiple main breaks and stuff like that, we do track it. There's multiple factors that go into planning a project. So we do look at main breaks, age of mains, and things like that. So we try to do projects in groups so that if there's a bunch in an area, we'll try to do that.
I know even on Numana, you go down Numana Road, you could see all the places where you dig up. Like just in front of my house, there was at least 3, maybe 4 water main breaks. I don't know if the last one that they dug up was a break or they're just doing repair.
Is it M-A-N-A, Mana?
N-U-M-A-N-A.
Oh, sorry, how's that?
N-U-M-A-N-A.
N-U-M-A.
But you drive along that road all the way to the end, you see all the places where you guys have dug up.
Okay. I'm looking to see on that. I'm not sure if they're doing a project. Do you see a board of water contractor in the area or something, or it's just me? You know,
You could tell when there was a break, right? Because there's all these patches in the road. And especially when you drive down Kalihi Street, you're driving, it's no longer even. It's all bumpy because of all the water main breaks.
Okay, yeah, I'm not certain if it's only main breaks or if there's other issues in the area, other utilities causing us stuff. So I'll ask that question. Okay, so that's my follow-up for the last month's ago question, and I'll know that I do need to do some more follow-up. Is there other questions that I can take?
Yeah, just want to make sure you keep us informed, because I was looking at this is you said 2028, but this goes from Hofstadter all the way to Kamehameha Fort Road. That's a lot of roadway to have potentially being dug up at one time or simultaneously, different areas.
Definitely, we keep you informed when it does go through the construction stage. We actually do come back to the board and mention the scheduling and things like that. I won't be here, but yeah, we will come back.
Yeah, because as I said, in the beginning, when you just mentioned it, I wasn't quite sure what was going on.
Especially when Dillingham is getting all bust out with the rail.
Yeah, right, so when you look at the distance of Kalihi to Kamehameha Fort, that's.
That's where I drive.
Yeah.
Every day.
Okay, I'll let them know to keep you guys informed and updated. Okay.
Mr. Bloom,
Just to follow up to Mr. Pogas, how far in advance do you let people know to prepare for the road closure? Because we don't want a week in advance, we want a little bit so we can prepare.
Yeah, as soon as we can, we let you know. So normally when you get the contract a little more set up, they have to get the schedule. They try to get that out. I can't guarantee a month or 2 or 3 in advance. And actually, if they're large enough, they actually try to do advertising stuff. This filling might be large enough that they might be a little bit more visual on that kind of stuff. But I can't guarantee the timing, but how far in advance, but we do try to let you know as soon as we can get it out to you. That's why we come to the board every month, because we want to let people know what's going on with us. Yeah.
Thank you.
But I let them know that too.
Mr. Ross, did you have a question?
I think she answered part of it. I guess, do you know if they're gonna be working on during at night, during the day, in the morning? What's the peak time?
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but typically, we do during the regular work hours. Because you do need to get waivers at night and other things like that, so we try to do the most cost-effective, efficient way to do it. So if there has to be a nighttime because of maybe you can't go into an area during the day, that would be the way, kind of a big reason why we do night.
My second question also is, you mentioned about water quality. Do you folks have any like mentorship program for the youth to learn more about how do we create water quality in our water system?
I don't know about a mentorship, I can ask that question, but I know that we do have a communications office that does attend,
Like show and tell the kids,
Yeah, so
it's
they-
summertime.
yeah, so if you have a place to meet at or something, they would go there, if you can call ahead and request for, give them a date, time or something, they could do a presentation to classrooms, to groups, things like that. You do need to call them or contact, you can also email, contact us, contact us at hbws.org, Honolulu Water Supply.org. You can put it in the subject line, request something on a date, are you available, that kind of thing. Then our communications office can do that and attend things. And if there's public things that get the shopping centers and things, we have people attending that. We do that for water conservation, teaching, if you want them to teach how water is, those kind of things.
Yeah,
Ask that kind of question, yeah.
The one last thing is, as far as is the water rate gonna go up, based on the, water, the sewage?
So we're two different entities.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to hear out to the public.
Yeah, so we're two different entities. We came out earlier in the year, we have our rate study and our rate proposal. There will be an increase every year. I don't recall a number, but I believe it's gonna happen on July 1st. There will be an increase every year on July 1st typically.
On the water side?
On the water side, yeah. To recover the cost because, like everywhere else, electricity, fuel, everything's going up. Labor, materials. So we have to recover for that. Even though we're watching how we're spending our money too, we do have to recover money to build new projects too. So that's why we don't just build and repair everywhere, because we could repair something if it breaks tomorrow, but we want to look at combined projects, try to ride out the life of things. But if we do see that there is a lot of main breaks in one area, we do try to group it and work on that project. So those kind of things go into us factoring in the rate study. And yes, there was a rate increase and we came up to the board and gave presentations.
Yeah, the reason why I asked about the rate is that if it ever gonna increase, so let's say for example, if there's a farmer that they're gonna be connected to the sewer line, for example, and of course they use a lot of water. So how do you folks base that upon usage of water for the farmer or agriculture use?
Yes, so we have an agricultural rate. I don't know what the dollar amount per gallon, per 1,000 gallon is our rate. It's only dollars per 1,000 gallons, not just a gallon.
Right.
So I'm not sure.
Is it gonna change?
They have,
Because based on the rate change?
on that one study, on the rate proposal, there was for every type of development.
So everybody
Every
will
type of
change,
residential,
regardless.
multifamily, agriculture, hotels, everybody had a different rate and they're showing the different increases.
Increases.
Yeah, they're showing an increase. So if that person has specific agricultural place, I could ask that.
Yeah, like the Wi-Fi area, they're
Yeah.
gonna connect the water sewage line.
Yeah, so I can't speak to
So
what
it's like-
happens on the sewer side, but if
How you gonna
a
rate
lot of
that,
it.
How you gonna rate the agriculture use for Because they go based upon how much water and they can charge you for the sewer, right?
Yeah, so I don't know how sewer, so I can't answer that specifically because we would charge for the water use. And we know what you're using for agriculture, for whatever use. How the sewer is gonna adjust or do whatever to say how much is going in the sewer, I don't know what the methodology is for sewers offhand, and I wouldn't know that since I don't do that side. So you have to ask that to the sewer.
So it's not opposite, not what you use on the water, side.
Sewer is usually a percentage of the water.
The water use, right?
Yeah, but I don't know for agriculture and what they do for agriculture.
Yeah, because you know what, we use
So
them.
we give a credit for like the first 1,000 gallons for single family, for residents. We say, oh, if you use 3,000 gallons, the first 1,000 is like no sewer charge, no charge on it. But you pay for the next 2,000 gallons at whatever the sewer rate. I've seen that because that's on my family's bill. But I don't know.
Is there a way you can come out, I mean, someone that you can ask in the Board of Water Supply to support the farmers? To make sure that they're not gonna get, a string increase on the rate, because we gotta grow food for the community.
Yeah, so I understand that. So I know from the sewer to the water side, they consider those kind of things and they're trying to, I can't say what was done to determine the agricultural rate, but that actually is one of the, I better not speak, I don't know what the rate is. But we can only mention to the sewer department in
I'm talking about the water use itself.
The water use itself.
Yeah. Because now they're gonna be connected to the sewer line. That makes sense?
Well, we're not connected at all, but the water gets used on that property.
Yes. It will increase,
And
right?
however it gets used, whether you're watering plants, flushing the toilet, your sewer, I don't know what the sewer side does. It's just our water is available to you.
It's not gonna change the rate.
The water rate will go up no matter, is going up because we've had that proposal for the next 4 or 5 years. We're gonna be going up every year. The sewer is out right now with their water sewer study or sewer rates. I don't know what their methodology is. I don't work in that department, so I'm sorry, I don't know their methodology. I don't know what they're doing. So we can share with them, oh yes, we have concern, people have told us they're concerned about their sewer rates, but you really gotta address your questions to E&D or that department, or the mayor's rep, or whoever the concerns are.
And so it goes back to the water.
City council, right?
And it gets
Going through the city council.
for the sewer.
Yeah.
Probably,
Well,
I think so, yeah, because we're a semi-autonomous agency, so our rates, study and everything, and they have to go to our board. We're a board of water supply. We have to answer to our board. So anything we spend and however we do things, we gotta answer to the board, which has some city ex-officio members on it. But we answer to the board and have to get approval from our board. The city's wastewater, I don't even know what to call it, B&B, yeah, they probably go to one of the councils for their approvals.
Sorry for the confusion.
No, it's okay, because it is hard, because we're on the same bills and we bill for them, because they don't, that's a method it is, we bill for them, but people ask this all the time. But yeah, so you can ask whoever on the mayor side or the city to ask that question. Yeah. You want an email. So awesome. I think that answers.
Are there any more questions from the board? And if not, we can move on to the community. Mr. Opati?
Yes, I'm glad, you're gonna give the community way in advance notice, because this is a prime road, and it's gonna affect both communities, Kapalama and Kalihi Valley. So a lot of our community members use that route to go to work, right? So it's very important to have it at least a year in advance, so we can, because I use that route to go to my appointments. Just one question, this project that you're gonna be working on in 2028, where's the funding coming from?
Well, all our projects come from our water rates.
That goes into
Sometimes
the-
water rates, or sometimes we try to get grants, federal money, any kind of money we can get from free money, grant money, we try to do that. I can't say specifically for this project, I have to ask and look into that.
Right, so that means the community bills are gonna go up because this is a water rate.
It wouldn't go up because of this one project, but it has been incorporated into the study that we said, okay, these are the potential projects. And because of these projects, this is a potential spend and rent having these fiscal years. So it is incorporated as part of one of them.
So it won't
So it
affect
will
it.
not because of it, it's been included already in the analysis.
Okay, so it won't affect
Yeah,
the community. Thank you.
So he brings up a good question. So when there's a project, it only, the funding, is allocated per the area or the whole entire city county?
Oh, for us,
Where
we
does the money
look
get
at the
put?
whole island, so we
Yeah.
try to take care of every area.
So-
We actually try to put projects in try to take care of all communities.
So it comes from the whole citizens then,
If you're a water,
of city and county?
it's from the water rates. So if, not taxes, not taxes, it's only from water rate payers and oh my gosh, what's it called? Water rate payers, I'll stick with that. So if they don't get water, if they're not served by the Board of Water Supply, then, I'm not sure, sorry.
No, what I mean, I guess, okay, so let's say we have a problem in one night. And then, of course, we pay for the water bills, all of us. Does everyone pay for that project? Or,
Oh, yeah.
or only on one night side? I guess that was, he was pointing out.
Oh,
right?
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
no. So the whole island water rates help everywhere.
okay.
Yeah, so we help our neighbors, yeah, because we have to help each other out. 'Cause where there's smaller communities that have longer lines, they could not afford to pay for their line, the repairs only to their little area. So it's the whole island. We're fair, we make projects all over the island as best and balanced as possible. So, yeah.
Okay.
So that's okay? Okay.
If there are no more questions at this time, I do want to thank you, Iris,
Yeah.
for
Thank
information.
you, thanks, glad to be here.
I see you.
Thanks.
Are you sure you don't want to take some of these?
Now, up next is residents and community concerns, 3 minutes each. Are there any residents or community concerns at this time, online or in person? Okay, seeing and
Well,
hearing,
I don't know if it's a concern, but it's just an announcement.
announcement, is it like for an event or
Yeah, for the,
will you be here till the end by any
Yeah.
chance? We can announce it at the end, is that
yeah,
okay?
that's all I was asking.
For announcements or events, yeah, I
Got it.
could say that we have, thank you. When I ask for are there any more announcements at the end?
Got it.
So we'll do that. But thank you so much.
Mhm.
And if there's no residents and community concerns at this time, number 4 is actually, there are no,
Here's one.
I'm so sorry.
I just kind of wanted to mention,
Yes.
and I don't know if anybody knows these kids.
It'll repeat you say your name, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I'm
we-
Donna Heinrich, I live in the valley.
God, thank you so much, Donna.
I'm just curious to know if anybody knows these kids that have been coming and swimming in the pond and they've been brandishing knives and guns and throwing rocks at us when we try to get them out of the pond. And the cops can't help them. And I'm just curious as to if anybody else has come across that problem, like up the valley further, like Tin Roof or.
Mr. Mulimana, do you have a question?
Which pond are you referring to? Ice pond
Well,
or?
right now, our pond is Doc's Pond, but I'm just wondering all the way up, if other people have had the same problem as us.
I know at the ice pond, they do have a police officer stationed there
Oh, really?
once in a while.
Because I asked someone if they could drop in or just kind of show their car around the place. But they say, yeah, but it doesn't happen. So I don't know. But I was curious if anybody was familiar with these kids. It's a particular gang, there's about 15 of them.
Ma'am, how often this happen?
It was happening almost every day, and I'm
Every day.
expecting because it's summer again, it's gonna happen again.
So from, let's say, from a month count, how many times in a month it happens?
Oh, they would come, well, like in the summer, they would come almost every day, and we would just have to sit there
So, where's?
and, you know, kind of the lifeguard.
Could you repeat the pond again, sorry, I kept missing the location.
The name of the pond is known as Doc's Pond.
Is that T roof?
My father was a doctor, and it was known from back in the,
Where's the pond?
fifties and sixties as Doc's Pond.
Where's the pond?
It's across the street from, Keikio Gaina.
Oh, okay. So it's right across, before the turn, to the right.
Right,
Right where the fire is.
right by the fire.
Yeah, that's where the house caught on fire. That was the doctor's house.
And you said, HPD is not helping, or?
No, they seem to kind of not figure, they don't know what to do with them. I don't know, they tell me, get them while they're there and then we can do something, and I've actually, kind of put my car in their way so they couldn't get out. And I called the cops and the cops just let them go. So I don't know what to do.
So just to be aware in the community, do you know what kind of are they brown, are they white, can you please tell us maybe a description of those kids?
They're all local kids.
Local kids?
There is one set up Caucasian family. There's another set of, I wanna say maybe Fijian or Samoan.
And then have this,
But the others, I would say more Hawaiian or Filipino.
and then have this been reported to the police many times?
Oh, yeah, I know every cop here. I think they just kind of roll their eyes when
They have
Here.
weapons, do they?
But they brandished knives. We put up, keep out signs, and they take your knives and they cut them all up, and
Is it on your property?
what's
Is
that?
the pond on your property?
Yeah.
Okay,
So the trustee does not want to put up a fence, which
So it's private
I'm
property?
having
It is private property?
a big problem with the trustee.
yeah, because if your property is next to the pond, it's on the stream,
It's
it's near
the
the,
pond is on our property.
okay, yeah, half of that pond is yours.
The whole pond is ours.
Oh.
So yes,
So
if you feel
the-
threatened, I think you should be helped.
What's that?
If your life you feel like it's in danger, or because it's your place, it's your private place, you should be protected.
I know, but they say.
I want your name today.
Let's do this.
You have to jump in the water.
Why don't you give us your name,
Yeah.
phone number and name, and we'll schedule a time,
Stay
and
here.
we'll
Yeah.
coordinate with you.
Yeah.
And also, it would have been, we should have maybe talked to the police officers when they were here too.
Yeah, we should.
Well, I've talked to,
Yeah.
like I
Well,
said,
but we
I
could
call them every
escalate
day.
it.
I just called them 2 days ago because the building got broken into.
But
But
let me tell you this story, a short story. I'm gonna make it fast. We had the same problem on Kalihi Street and help me out. Which street was it? But anyway, it was near the stream. So we had homeless encampment staying in underneath the bridge. So the only way we had, I did that part. Me and Mizuno and all these other, and the city and county. I mean
It was a long project.
it was a long process, but it will.
you were able to get rid of them, is
Of
that what
course,
you're
yes.
These
We
kids
need
are
to get
ready.
together. You need to join you need to join into my community.
Chris has a comment.
Long story short,
Someone has.
your problem is our problem.
Oh.
So that's why we're here as a neighborhood board. So we're willing to work with you after, we wanna stay after,
I would love
me
to.
and some of
She
the
would
board
just
members
stay up.
would love to give you our information and call us when these people show up. So maybe we can show up and talk to them, these
Well,
kids,
I
or.
think these kids are not talkable.
Oh, okay, well, yeah.
They're very,
Well, maybe a
Chris,
different approach, but like I said, your
but
problem
then
is.
again, if they see you, maybe.
But yeah, like I said, your problem is our problem.
I'm gonna have to call order, because we do have someone online who has their hand up and has been waiting a while, so.
Okay.
Someone online has their hand up, D? Are you there? Well, if you still have your hand up, or if there's technical issues, we can also move on to Ropati. You can keep your hand up if you'd still like to comment later, or, but Mr. Ropati?
I think D is my guest.
Oh, okay.
like, she's with Kukukli Valley, and that's something we can address, and that's why I mentioned about these, community awareness. Yeah.
Yes.
These kids don't know about those kinds of stuff, yeah. If we grew up in Kalihi, we know Team Roof, and like he mentioned, Team Roof and Ice Pond, because we all swam in those ponds,
Yeah.
but we've never heard of that.
Yeah, I've never heard of them.
Yeah, so,
Um,
right, but you know, that's why I try to communicate with all the youth ministers in Kalihi Valley, because there's something that the youth ministers, we can go out and help with these kind of stuff, because I'm the youth and young adult coordinator at our Native Mount, which is a Portuguese church, yeah. And so my cousins are up in the valley, they have their two, which is up in the valley, they're both youth ministers at their churches, so I wanna get together with them and maybe we can address these kinds of stuff, not just educate the kids about where they're at, so they have more pride. I think that's one thing that's missing is pride. in our
I'm also,
community.
yes, and I do feel that unfortunately, I feel like the parents, some of the parents are not.
From this community, so that's the
Either
thing.
not from this community, or they're just.
So that's why we gotta get
I
these,
had a couple parents that came and they were telling us, you know, don't you take pictures of me, and don't you touch me, when they were walking up and
but I think if
down
you
the
have
pathway.
islanders like myself and Mr. Chris over there, we can talk to them because we like seeing our own people talk to us.
Mhm.
Yeah, because everybody's very sensitive right now. Yeah, so it's best that, you know, people like us go and reach out to them and let them know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, sorry, so what is it that you don't want? You don't want anyone on your property, or if
Right
if
now,
if
yeah,
you
we
do want to
don't.
swim, let you know.
Yeah,
Well,
we
what is it that
don't
you
want
want?
anybody, because right now it's up in the air,
Okay.
and it's never been a public place.
Okay.
And it's a
Yeah.
liability.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna second what he said about educating these kids and letting them know that there are other options if you do wanna swim, and stuff
So
like that.
we tell them to go up to
Ice
Tin
Pond.
Roof,
Oh.
because the owner of that house there said it's okay for them to go up.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'm like, can you
still
just
come
move
Okay.
on?
Yeah. Okay. That's
But
fine.
this one's a lot bigger and open, and they jump out off the house, and it's just more,
Cause you guys are liable as well if they get hurt.
Right, that's
On the
right.
property.
Yeah.
So.
yeah.
sure,
I,
that-
Thank you so much. So I do see Dee has a second account on, so Dee, are you able to unmute?
Hi, sorry guys, I kind of got cut off when I hit the unmute button, but I just kind of wanted to chime in on like what Rapasi was saying. Like, I totally understand. Sorry, I'm not too sure what Auntie's name is, but I feel like our kids, our youth, are actually going through like a lot of different pressures going on in the community, and I feel like Ice Pond and those other places up in the valley are a way for them to escape whatever reality that they're facing. Yes, it's not an excuse for them to be trespassing on other people's property, but I feel like the education part of it is very vital to the kids having an understanding. And, you know, and I'm pretty sure some of the kids are from my community, Pacific Islanders, and I feel like this is our opportunity to help advocate for them, because if they don't get to be in those safer places, they'll be out in the community trying to experiment other things, and we've already witnessed a lot of shootings that's been happening in our community. I feel like as a community ourselves, like we have to do better, because a lot of the programs that used to be available to me when I was growing up, at for example at Camp for Housing, like it's no longer available to our kids. Like some of the areas in Camp for Housing, like the property is condemned. That's used to be a hall, that used to be a basketball court for them. There used to be a playground at the front of Camp for Housing, and that's also taken away. So it's kind of like the kids, they're finding their own sense of light somewhere here closer to home. They don't have transportation, so 9 times out of 10, they're walking with a group of friends. They're, just catching the bus or something like that. But I feel like, yeah, as a community, like we could do much better, and definitely educate our kids, if they're trespassing, that's not something to do. And as much as possible, we also want to protect, even our kupuna. If that's happening to you guys, then we also want to be able to contribute our voices as well. And also like try to also understand our youth too, because I feel like they don't usually get heard, and so a lot of times they just kind of act out. But yeah, that's just kind of my experience and my, 2 cents that I wanted to put out there.
Well, yeah, they call us every name in the book. They throw rocks at us, and we're kapunas. We're both kapunas, and we've had that too. And like I said, they brandished their guns and their knives. I think that's a little too overboard, aggressive. That to me is real serious stuff. And to just let them swim, to let steam out, I understand that, but I also have to, because it's private property, we have our, not to be stink about it, but, my dad used to let everybody swim and then he got sued, because one kid went fishing with a glass jar and he got sued big time. And so it's just, people think we got money because it's a big property.
As I said, we'll get your information, we'll work on this. It won't be solved overnight, but we will definitely help you.
Yep.
Okay?
Well, and there's fishermen that come in and we ask them, please don't come. And, it makes us feel really bad.
There are things that you still can do when you call the police, and there's certain things you can request, and we'll talk to you about all this stuff after the meeting, okay?
She's gonna stick around.
Okay, because they don't.
Thank you,
They
though.
blow me off something bad.
Thank you. Are there any more residents and community concerns at this time? I do see.
Okay, I just wanted to jump in real quick and thank. I love this conversation. I think it's really important, and I think what Dee is saying ties into something that we are going to talk about later on this evening, which is what to do about the violence that has been occurring recently at Kalihi Valley Homes, and I think that a community engagement strategy, kind of like what Dee is talking about, that comes from the community, I think that could have some real positive impact for what we're talking about in terms of the stream and the pond, but also for Kalihi Valley Homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ropati?
I just want to put it on the record, DA's with the Kalihi Valley on North School Street. Yeah, so she's one of the outreach director over there, so that's why I'm glad she's on Zoom. That's one of the committee can go and work with. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And if there are no more residents or community concerns at this time online or in person, then we can, there's actually no presentation from City and County of Honolulu Parks and Rec. Maybe next month, but they were busy today, so they couldn't actually attend. But we will move on to city elected officials, Mayor Rick Langiardi, Representative Landmaster Clark Wright.
Aloha, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. My video doesn't seem to be working, but at least you can hear. Aloha. This month's highlights from the mayor's newsletter includes Mayor Blangiardi and U.S. military leaders participate in the annual Memorial Day Remembrance Ceremony at Punch Bowl. Also, the arrival of 17 new life-saving vehicles marks a historic day for Honolulu's emergency medical services. And city leaders participate in a series of tributes for Honolulu Police Week, honoring the fallen officers who died in the line of duty. A group of city bus drivers and dispatchers are honored by Mayor Blangiardi for an incredible 50 years of service to our communities. And the city's annual joint food drive with the state of Hawaii culminates with the food bank finale at Honolulu Hale. That link to the newsletter is in the chat. A couple of departmental issues to follow up on. First one, Member Soong, thank you, requested a presentation from DPR regarding the status of Kalihi Valley Rec Center improvements and renovations. Now, I know they are not here, but they did send some of the information along with us. They just finished lowering the floor drains in the locker rooms at Kalihi Valley District Park. They are currently working on re-sloping the trench drains. The last step is the epoxy flooring, and the contractors are currently waiting for the materials to arrive. No other information on dates to complete has been provided, but at least they did provide that. And another issue brought up by Member Franklin wanted to know if the city and county had any youth programs like sports in Kalihi Valley. So yes, the park, Kalihi Valley District Park does offer fall and spring programs to the youth like pickleball, basketball, hula, disc golf, archery, volleyball, and cultural games. They also offer swimming programs like parent and child, tiny tots, learn to swim levels 1 to 4, swim team, stand up paddleboard, and aquatics, sports, and games. You can find all of these at pros.hnl.info, and that is also in the chat. That link is in the chat. And that's all I have. Open for questions, Chair.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board online or in person? Seeing and hearing none. Oh, Mr. Gatti.
Yeah, so when we were talking about the Kalihi Street issue before, which is there's, at night especially, the visibility is quite poor for cars going up the hill and with the pedestrians on the side without sidewalks. I was wondering because I've seen this in the mainland, these sort of motion activated crosswalks. Like even at the crosswalks, it's at night, it's very hard to see people. And really obviously the nicest thing would be to have sidewalks, but it doesn't seem like that would be feasible, or at least to be very difficult. But some amount of motion activated lights for pedestrians so that they're more visible at night, because it's, I drive up there every night and you often can't see people at all until you're too close to them, to feel comfortable. And they don't have any options really, because they don't have a sidewalk, so they're going right along the road. And cars are driving fast. So yeah, I don't know the feasibility of a project like that, but it does seem like someone's going to get hurt on that street at some point, and probably already have.
Yeah, thank you for that. I will forward that information on. I think it might be good also to bring it up with Lynn in the next speaker as well. Maybe we can hit it from different angles. But I understand, and I certainly appreciate your sharing that information. Thank you.
Do you know the cross streets again?
Well, it's around the pink store and yeah, I feel like the whole street really. All the way up. It's pretty dark.
So what is the Kalihi
whatever. What street you live on?
Yeah, it's a Kaika street. It's right.
Kaika, what street are you on?
Well, we're gonna talk about where I live on the Zoom call. I live on Queen Kelly Street, right by where Alejandro's is.
Right.
Next to Mahani.
And before that too, that whole area. Because they'll need specific cross streets.
Okay. Koi Kelly is close enough to.
But going off of what he said, the first blinking light that we had was in Kailua Town Center. And I think I was talking to Bill Hicks, he's the chairboard of Kailua. And he said that first one, it cost something like $1 million to put in.
Just motion activated ones? We don't need any
And we talked about it,
Could be solar, right?
We talked about it, and the actual structure isn't the problem, it's the permitting and all the other stuff that goes along with it. But it came up to something like a million or something like that.
You can buy these solar powered lights for like
So,
$50.
and that's the reason why they've been putting speed bumps in compared to those lights.
Well, maybe speed bumps is a way to go about too, right? But it's really the visibility is the biggest issue, right? And that's what makes it scary. It's because people have to go out of the road because there's no sidewalk and the visibility is crap.
Thank you so much. Are there any?
I'm so sorry. Can I get the cross street or possible cross streets again?
Kalihi and Kuikele Street. Kuikele.
Thank you. Mahalo.
Of course. Thank you. Are there more questions from the board?
I thought Merpati said, it's, the Lareha and Kalihi Street. In that,
That one too?
Well, I think
it starts
the
from
entire
it's multiple
multiple parts of
spots.
Kalihi Street. Yeah. It's just that's
Kind of
one
whole stretch.
Yeah. The pink store, I think I
Especially when
imagine.
you go, start getting more up the hill, it gets darker because there's less,
Okay, so farther up
less
Kalihi.
lights. Right.
Okay.
So if you have light concerns, should we do a light study then? To like make the street lights be brighter? Put more
That
lighting?
would be a solution too, yeah,
You know?
that's possible.
And then also like speed bumps for slow down the traffic, slow down the speeds. So,
No, do it after the amount of
so
road
do we
cars.
ask, our councilman for that, or we ask, mayor's, representative for that?
Could ask Lynn.
Member Rojas, can everyone hear me? This is Lynn from Councilmember Dos Santos Tam's office.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, so I think that this is something that our office can help with, at least to get the requests in. I just put my phone number in the chat. I can put my email, but for you in person, oh, now I just realized I gave you my cell. Well, you can call my cell too. But it's been a long day. So for the board member that had the concern, can someone please put us in touch? You know, I would be happy, or I can, if you want to write down my email right now. So the process, so my name is Lynn Robinson, LYNNROBINSON, and I'm the Constituent Services Director in Councilmember's office. My email is l.robinson@honolulu.gov. And so we can put in some requests for investigation and service reports, for a traffic study. We can also ask to have the lights maybe adjusted, turned up. We can, add suggestions like you kind of had about additional lights or speed mitigation measures. So I'm more than happy to work with you on that. If you'll just reach out, we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from board members online or in person? And if not, any community members, Mr. Obati?
Yeah, going back to Mr. Clark. I know you mentioned programs they have at Kalihi Valley. I don't know if you mentioned boxing. Do they still have boxing?
No.
I'm not sure. I do know this is what they shared to us. We can inquire. Offhand, I'm thinking no, because they didn't put it down. But we can inquire again.
Yeah, the only reason why I asked, because back then boxing was a big program, in Kalihi Valley District, and so we used a lot of the resources they had back then, and like Deanna said, a lot of those resources got taken away, and so that's why the youth are the way they are, because there's none for them. So I'm glad you're bringing it back. Summer program, I didn't hear anything about summer program.
Yes, they do have quite a large summer fun program. That one was discussed previously at different events, but they do. The city does sponsor the summer fun program for the kids. Yeah.
Is that still open, or is it closed for registration?
I am not sure. We can follow up to find out for you, but I do know if you go online to the Parks Department, they probably have the answer right there.
Right. The only reason I asked, because I didn't hear any advertisement. I think that's what Mr. Randy was also asking about. So we get this a lot where go online and you'll see everything online, but there was no advertisement in advance. So I'm just curious about that, but thank you for that.
No, thank you for your question.
Thank you very much. Are there any more questions from the community online or in person?
I just had a comment.
Yes.
Grandmaster Clark,
yes.
I just wanted to congratulate your wife, Danielle, and your son, Christopher for the fabulous work with the Lilo and Stitch movie.
Oh my goodness, thank you so very, very
So
much.
proud. You must be just elated. Thank
Oh,
you.
that's so very nice of you, and I appreciate it. We had the honor of being involved in the live action Lilo and Stitch movie. My son was a screenwriter, and my wife's choir, she's the choral director at Kamehameha School's children's chorus, and they sang three numbers on the movie as well. So it's thank you so much. It's been a joy and a very proud moment for this papa, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there any? I'm not seeing any more questions online or in person. I do want to thank you, Mr. Clark, Bandmaster Clark, Wright, for being here. And have a good evening.
Mahalo nui, aloha.
Aloha. Up next is Councilmember Tyler Dos Santos Tam, Constituent Service Director Lynn Robinson.
Aloha, Chair. Aloha, board members and community members. I will be brief. It's been a little bit since we talked about the RPZ. So I just wanted to give the update that I have. I wish it was more detailed, but the actual rollout for the program is still in legal review. We have measures in place in the queue with DTS to make sure that the neighbors that are involved in the program are well informed. That will include pop-up events that folks can go to. We can help you register for your permit, and you can ask questions. All of that will happen. And also there'll be mailers that go out from our office to make sure. But for right now, it's all just kind of in the queue. I just wanted to assure everyone that there will not be a rollout that will blindside the community, that we absolutely understand that education and notice has to be part of the process. So are there any questions on that? Is there anyone?
Questions, Mr. Kumalai?
Hey, Lynn, you
Hi.
in anticipation of federal budget cuts and maybe some funding trickling down to the city, the areas of the RPZ would not be disappointed if you continue with the pilot program, do not initiate the permanent program. You can pass that on.
Thank you, Board Member Kumalai. I will pass that on. Okay, also, I wanted to let everyone know about the Hawaii Home Energy Assistance Program. Super important that applications for this program are only going to be till the end of June. So I did put a link in the chat for to apply. So there's energy credits that assist households in need for financial help for energy costs. And so please, if you know anyone or you yourself could, are having a difficult time, our energy costs are exorbitant, and there is some help with this program. So check it out. But I think that's all I have. I don't know that I have any follow-up from 2 months ago, unless anyone wants to remind me. And then again, I did just want to circle back about the issue that we have with the youth that are making bad choices for, and trespassing. Firstly, I do want to lead with and, be, I fully heard what Dee was saying, and also Representative Hussey. And our office discusses this a lot about how the more positive opportunities that we have in our community, the more positive activity that we have in our community, the less crime we will always have. And so we do need to work together as a community to have more opportunities, whether it be summer or not, for all of our youth to have an outlet. And this is how we demonstrate as a community that we care about them and that we want them to do well and that they're valued and needed, right? So I hope that we can work together to strengthen community programs. I also just want to say that there should never be a day that any constituent calls the HPD saying that they have a trespasser and HPD dismisses that. So that's not a thing. And if that does happen, then you ask for a supervisor. And I think that Board Member Rojas kind of spoke about how the tipping point for us to be able to get the squatters who were terrorizing a neighborhood out from underneath the Kalihi Kilahana Bridge was when we were able to work together with the landowner and the city to get no trespassing signs up. Yep. And that gave HPD more leeway for enforcement. And yep. It took a while. Now I don't believe we're anywhere near what was happening over there. I think we just have some of our youth in the community that are just making bad choices. But I don't know the community member that, I just want to say that please reach out to our office if you feel like you're consistently calling and you're not getting any results for trespassing. There is a process that you also have to engage. I'm sorry to say that I'm all too familiar now about how to trespass folks, but I think with some community policing, meaning educating young people and letting them know about boundaries and possible consequences, we can probably get through this. And I did see that other board members said that they would work with you too. But please reach out to me if you feel like you need additional assistance, or maybe we can set up a meeting with HPD to make sure it's not, to make sure that everyone's on the same page and we can, take care of the issue.
And I have a lot of ideas.
Good. Then you should reach out to me. Our office would be really happy to work with you.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Sincerely, yeah. Please do. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions from the board, online, in person? Mr. Sun?
Lynn, is Tyler DeSantos Sam still chairman of the budget committee?
Yes, he is.
Just checking. That's all I had.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you. If there are no more questions from the board, are there questions from the community online or in person? Okay, seeing and hearing none, thank you so much, Lynn Robinson, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks, everyone.
Yep.
Up next is state elected official. I do see Governor Josh Green's. Do we have a representative online by any chance? We are still pending an assignment. Okay. So we still don't have a representative for Governor Josh Green's office. So we will move on to Senator Donna Mercado Kim. I believe Kathy Nee is online.
Donna's online.
And Donna as well, yeah.
So online. Aloha everyone, good evening. Hope you all got my community report that we sent in digitally to the chair and to the neighborhood board members. And of course, as usual, any other residents or members at the meeting would like to be included to receive our reports before the meeting. You can email our office with your email address and we will add you to that list. On Friday, the governor's office released the intent to veto list, which consisted of 19 bills. And it's important to note, though, that just because the bills are on the list does not guarantee a veto, because he still have the opportunity to discuss and be lobbied to sign some of those measures, but he must veto, or the deadline for his veto is July 9th. And if he does veto any bills, then the legislature, if we want to override, and we can override with 2/3 of the members vote, then we need to convene a special session on or before noon of July 9th to override. And bills can become law without the governor's signature or with his signature. And of course, if he vetoes it, the only way that can pass is we need to override. Doesn't look likely that the legislature has the appetite to have a veto override, but that's not, again, definite. So that can also change. If you want to see the full list of all 19 bills, you can go to governor.hawaii.gov and you can get the full list. Some of the community updates. First, I want to thank Councilmember Dos Santos Tam's office for putting in money into the budget for the Ahi'i Street footbridge repair. And so hopefully that will get repair the foundation for planning, design, and ultimately the implementation of fixing that bridge. Hawaiian Electric crews will be removing a utility pole across from the Kalihi police station on Friday, June 13, and install a new one on Monday, June 30th. And crews will be transferring power lines to a temporary pole, and then they will return on June 30th to install the permanent pole. Location is on Kamehameha Fort Road between Kilohi Street and Kilolani Place, and the hours between 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. on both days. Motorists should avoid the area if possible, drive cautiously through the zone, and expect any delays. I congratulate the Farrington graduating class of 2025. I was at the graduation. It was Stan Sheriff Arena. Hopefully it'll move back to Farrington because it doesn't feel the same graduating somewhere else other than in Kalihi. And that brings me to the Farrington groundbreaking for the new multi-purpose building, which ground broke on the 30th of May. This is a $75 million project. It will include a brand new gym. It'll include a music room, locker rooms, wrestling rooms, a whole mess of really brand new facility. And they will demolish the pool and it will go over the pool area. And then that's phase two. Phase one was our field, our beautiful Governor Field. And phase two is the gym. And phase three will be a new cafeteria. So yeah, we have good things in store for Farrington. It does take a lot of money. It's taken many, many years. I was at Farrington when the gym was fairly new. And so it's kind of full circle now. I just hope I'm around when I see the new cafeteria. Let's see. Yesterday was Kamehameha Day, but the annual parade, floral parade, is on Saturday, on June 14th. So the Transportation Department is advising drivers to expect street closures and delays in downtown Honolulu along the parade route from 7:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Just to educate you about our power lines, I've been getting a lot of calls from people concerned about trees touching the power lines and possible fires. And so Hawaiian Electric tells us that power lines are thinner. They're located higher on poles and they carry electricity, whereas your telephone lines are usually thicker, bundled, and they sit lower on the pole. And they carry the cable, internet, and so forth. And so if you do see lines and you think it's an electrical line, then you should call HICO at 855-304-1212. Those are the lines that are most concerning because it could ignite fire and then get onto the homes. New library cards. You can turn in your old library card and get a new one with the new design. And it's free for all Hawaii residents, military personnel, and dependents. And with that, I'm open to any questions you might have.
Thank you so much. You have any questions from the board, Mr. Sir?
I have
Good news for you, Senator.
Yes.
Kalakaua Middle School is starting their new band program this next school year.
Great, finally, yes.
So now we just got to get Dole Middle School to start their band. So I don't know if you could help with that. I know it's a principal thing.
I will check with the DOE. Dole is in my district, Kalakaua is not, but that's okay. We can still work with DOE on both of them. And I think that Kalakaua Gym still has a boxing program there.
No.
I know that's when I was going there, my dad then boxed at Kalakaua.
There's there's a boxing program in this area, and someone purchased the old one. I forgot the name of it. I'll get it.
Because I know you brought that up, so.
I know Amanda knows that person. There's a boxing program in this area.
But I know
I'll
there
find
was
out.
one historically at Kalakaua Gym. They were known for the boxing program out there. I hope they
Yeah.
still have it.
Maybe that's the one. Someone bought it, right? Purchased it. And how? My last question is it possible to get a boys and girls club in this area? Do you know?
If there's enough interest and they have a place that they can meet, I'm sure.
How can we go about looking into that?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check on starts it. Probably a nonprofit. But yeah, we can follow up. I know like they have in Ever Beach, they have Croc Center. They have a Boys and Girls Club out there.
Okay, and I know they have in Nanakui and they have one in Waianae too.
Yeah.
So I think
And we'll follow up on that.
That'd be a good program for the kids in this area. Thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Rojas?
Yes, Senator, I just wanted to follow up on, is there any update or support as far as Kalihi Valley housing, you know, for the recreation or, you know, like there's so many things going on over there at this point and we're really concerned about what we're gonna do there. As far as keeping the youth engagement program or any kind of, you know, because it's a state
It's a federal
area.
state housing project, yes.
Yes. Maybe
Yes, the last time we checked, they were having money for planning and design of the new recreation area. And so that is on the books and we will report the progress at the next meeting. I know it's been taking a while. Now with the federal funding being cut, I'm not sure how that'll affect some of the funding for that project because it is federal dollars. So we'll double check on that and report at the next meeting.
And also, one more thing, is there a way we can increase the security, you know, the security guards there to be more, instead of just one in the gate? How do we do that on the state side? How do we tap into
I'm
it?
sorry, you want them to do more than what?
Meaning like maybe we could put more security guards there, because there's only one, so.
Yeah, it's a matter of funding and it's a matter of finding people to take the jobs. So those are the two issues. I know there's a lot of vacant positions for security guards and also for positions. So again, that's something that the HHPH housing will have to would have to contact them and see.
Thank you so much. Are there more questions from the board, online or in person? And if not, any questions from the community, online or in person?
I just wanted to say,
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank you, Donna, for sticking through with the Farrington improvement. The gym, the new gym, and yeah, I know you're a proud alumni as I am.
And so are you, yes. And we appreciate you both being at the groundbreaking. It was a momentous time for all of us and a proud moment for all of us. And I think it'll be a great addition, like the field, for the community. So yeah, yay, go Govs.
Yeah, yeah, but you are,
Sweden.
once a gov, always a gov, and that's you,
Yep,
Donna. Thank you.
absolutely. Mr. Rojas?
Yes, so I think you mentioned that, part of the Camp Fort area is not your, area or jurisdiction as far as,
No, Camforth is mine. I said Dole is in my area, but Kalakaua School is not.
oh, Kalakaua is not, okay.
Yeah. Although I went to Kalakaua.
I went to
Graduate of
Kalakaua too.
Kalakaua and
Dole.
Farrington.
And Farrington. Well, I hope you will help us on getting more updates, and you guys got a lot of $1 million for Farrington, and there's a lot of people from Camford Housing that goes to Farrington High School. So I think wherever they came from should be done first. That's the base.
Well, the different pots of money, the monies from for the schools is state general fund monies, CIP monies. We've been waiting a long time. There are hundreds of schools and everybody's competing for the dollars. And so I have been fighting for over a decade for that money, and we finally got it. It almost got lapsed 2 years ago when they had the Lahaina fires and the governor was lapsing all of the projects. The Farrington project was ready to go 2 years ago, and they stopped it. They were going to lapse it, and it was 54 million. I fought hard for it. I was criticized for it. That's okay. But I fought for it, and they were $16 million, $17 million short. We had to find that money, put it in. We have $75 million, and we were able to finally 2 years later get the project going. So it's not that easy. Just because, in fact, when you get
Thank you very much for putting out.
when you get money like that for the district, all the other areas suffer because they're saying, well, Kalihi, you got your share, and then they move on. But it just requires us to fight, and us legislators in the area. Senator Kidani, even though she's represent Mililani, she's a Farrington grad. And so wherever we can find, Farrington alumni, we always count on them to help. So not easy, but I see a hand back there, back in the corner.
Hi, yes, Senator Rapati Luo from the Farrington Alumni Foundation. And I want to echo Ladette. I'm glad you're bringing the changes on campus, because once the campus is up to date, I think our community will be up to date as well. I think that's what it is, and so I'm glad that you're fighting for the youth of Kalihi. Farrington is where it is, right? Where graduation is happening, the whole town is silent because we're all at graduation, right? And so I'm glad you're considering bringing it back to home where it belongs. But there's a lot of logistics that's behind it that needs to be supported and funded, with that. So thank you for that with the new pool and the new gym. And just to let everyone know, the pool is an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and it was dedicated to the Farringtonians who went to war that didn't make it back. And so that's why it's a pool memorial, right? And so knowing that the new gym is coming up, hopefully they'll keep something like that, because we have the plaque in our office, and it just sits there, and it's sad, it just sits there, but it should be on that building where it was dedicated to the port. So I just want to bring that up, and hopefully that can go back to its home where it belongs.
Well, I think it's in phase 7 or 8. I can't remember what phase it is, but there is a pool plan, but I don't think I'm going to see it in my lifetime. But we keep electing Farrington governor alumni to be on the legislature. And, I really want to thank Farrington High School, the principal, all of the administrators who fought for that as well and kept me posted every time they ran out of money, like they ran out of money for the lights for the field. They came to see me, and we were able to get the funds for that, as well as the visiting bleachers. So that's really important. I did ask the architect people to find a place in the new building for archives, Farrington Archives, because if you know that El Torco has a collection of Farrington memorabilia that we need to keep. We need to be able to keep that and perpetuate that for all future people coming in. And I don't think any other school has that kind of inventory, and it'd be sad to lose that if anything happened to him, because right now it's being stored on his property at home in a shed. So we need to find a place where we can display it, be proud of it, and maintain it and preserve it. So we're working on that as well.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you so much. And if there are no questions for Senator Kim at this time, I do want to thank you, Senator, for being here this evening, and have a good evening as well.
Thank you all. Appreciate all the work you folks are doing as well.
Thank you. Up next is Representative Ikai Kahasi, who's here in person.
Brenda, come on this side.
Took him from the screen.
I wanted to use my time this evening to share some information about Kalihi Valley Homes. So I spent some time there this afternoon meeting with management at the property, and so just to answer a few questions that came up earlier tonight. So one is that the demolition of the rec center, the old dilapidated rec center, which has been out of commission for more than a decade, is expected by the end of this year. Unfortunately, not any sooner, but by the end of this calendar year. They've encountered some problems just sort of logistical problems in doing the actual demo because of the proximity to housing, right? It's right there in the middle of what they call uptown and downtown of Kalihi Valley Homes. It's right there in the center. So, there's concerns about what happens if, metal starts flying and et cetera in the process of demolition. So they're being very judicious and thoughtful in how they're moving forward with that. Regarding security, was it Mr. Rojas you're asking about how to expand security? So the security team there, I think, is brand new. They're like just within a year of operation. So now's probably a really good time to make some requests for them to change their operating procedures and expand their operations. I think it's a privatized security, like an outsourced security group. Let's see what else. It seems like the people that are perpetrating the violence, the gang violence, are not Kalihi Valley Homes residents. It's not kids from that community. It's people coming from outside. There's anecdotal evidence that they might be coming from like KPT, et cetera. And so I know that we had been talking here in this body about trying to do some outreach to the residents of Kalihi Valley Homes. And so one of the things that came up in my conversations with residents at Kalihi Valley Homes today is that there's some key leaders, some longtime community leaders from that community who we're looking at basically getting together and just breaking bread and doing some strategizing about how to address it, but starting from their like sort of an informal board, and then from them to make a request to our neighborhood board about ways that the neighborhood board can be effective and useful for their efforts. But I do think it kind of has to start from them, right? They've been there a long time. They're there every day, and they probably know the best about how to proceed. So that meeting's going to happen hopefully next week, and I might see if there's some representatives from this body that can join for that conversation, just for like an initial meeting. That's okay. Let's see what else. Are there any questions that you guys have?
Yeah, as far as the key leaders that you're talking about.
I have a list. It's like
is there a way? Are you going to make a town hall meeting for that? So that way we can get involved as well too.
Yeah. So I was thinking about hosting kind of like a dinner meeting. Not make it like a really big public thing, because I think the first thing is that they need to get together and figure out what is their strategy as a community to address their concerns, because it's their kids, right, that are being beaten up and hurt. But I was thinking maybe if there's a few representatives from the neighborhood board that would like to attend, that would be really good.
Please tell me and I'll be there.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be there because I'm the coordinator for Neighborhood Security Watch.
Yeah. So
I mentioned also.
It's not said yet, so let me follow up with you guys.
Yeah, I also mentioned about a patrol.
Yeah, so I brought that up, and there seems to be interest in doing a patrol.
So the only problem before is that I couldn't get into the housing because it's a state.
Right.
It's a state process where we have to ask permission to get in.
Right.
That's the reason why we couldn't establish a neighborhood security watch there.
Yeah, which is why I think if the request comes from them, you know, if they're basically inviting yourself and other members from the broader community, I think that's the way to get past that problem.
Yeah. That's the reason why we went to the housing authorization leader to be able to access there.
Right.
And that's why we brought them in here for the meeting.
Yeah.
But somehow it kind of halt from there.
Yeah.
So this is where you can step up and say.
Right, that's why I went to.
Put the authority, housing leaders, and then your key leaders.
Right, so Simeon, that's the reason why I went there today to go talk to them, so that the invitation comes from them.
Yeah. Because the neighbors who's around.
Yes.
Kalihi Valley. We traumatize too, because when we hear someone getting shot, it's like, oh shit, man, we're around the area. They may come to us, because my daughter lives right across that place, and I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So that's why we still need our community, leaders who's outside as well, to be involved. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Very important.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Are there any more questions from the board? Mr. Sutton.
So thank you, after our conversation, for taking this by the horn. Cordera is working with KPT next week. I know you're pretty close to her, so if you don't mind reaching out to her, seeing if you're able to coordinate with her programs in the Valley Homes, and maybe you could even join her event next week. I don't know if you're able to do that, to see what they're doing there.
Okay, I think we'll.
Yeah, and what else was it? Well, the other part, we'll talk offline about that, about our other conversation that we had. But thank you for taking this. I mean, you work pretty fast on this after you and I talked. Appreciate that.
And if there are no more questions from the board, I do see Mr. Ropati.
There is two groups involved in the discussion because they're very active. They're in that community, Kalihi Valley, and they're on campus. Adult Friends for Youth at Kalihi Valley, they're part of the discussion.
KKB is, yes, well, KKB more so than Adult Friends for Youth.
Yeah. The only reason why I asked is because KKB did have a meeting, a staff meeting, and the housing was invited. But they were, every time they brought up a suggestion or try to fix the problem, they were told they can't. And this is from the representative of the housing, the manager or whoever manages it. She told them that they can't. And so that's why they're stuck and they can't do anything on property or they can't even help them. The other thing is, I talked to a lot of my family and friends on property. And a lot of them say they didn't hear any of these information as far as trying to better or programs trying to, beautify the property and stuff like that. So I don't know where the information is going or how it's being dispersed or advertised. If you do, because I posted this meeting about all the camp for people to come. Yeah, and so they said, oh, just tell us what's going to happen. Like, okay, I'm going to be your voice then. So I'm just letting you know that. Because a lot of my family, like I said, my family and friends and former students still live on property. And they want to know what's going on because they haven't been helped. They feel like no one comes up to them and talks to them about their concerns or try to listen to their concerns. And it seems like it just gets, just make sure your property is clean. And so I don't know how to answer them. Maybe if you do that town hall, I can tell all of them to come to that meeting so that way they can have their voice heard.
I appreciate that. I just want to be clear. What I'm proposing right now is not a town hall. I'm proposing just a small strategy meeting for the key leaders at Kalihi Valley Homes. Town hall can come after. And it should be driven by the folks at KDH.
Which it is them that tell me to do that. So I don't know how I can get that word to them. If we're going to be selected of who gets to come to that meeting, and I want to hear only your concerns and not everybody else's concerns. Because there's a lot of concerns they have, but they don't know who to reach out to. Yeah. So I like to advocate for them because I lived in Kalihi, Campo housing. I was born and raised in Campo housing. That's right. Yeah, and so to see it not being heard or no one helping, and they're saying you have to be invited only, that's the rule. then I have to go in again, activate them again, and tell them, hey, they don't can do nothing unless you guys do something about it.
Then let's talk offline, give me some names, then
Right.
invite them as well. Sure.
And if there are no more questions online or in person at this time, then we can move on. Thank you so much, Representative Kaida, Hasi, for being here and for talking about Kalihi Valley. And up next, we are doing board business. So Mr. Sung is passing out copies of, just a copy already?
Passing it this way.
Okay, all of them, okay.
Yeah.
So these are 3 of the resolutions that he has submitted. I just need help with identifying the first 2 because they have the same title, just one has an additional, but I asked him to change a title and he gave 2 different, or just 2 new resolutions for that. So I'm just trying to figure out the first one for the access.
I'll explain it.
Yeah, first I do have to get a motion, so. The first resolution is on, just for the board members. Yeah, so sorry. So the first resolution is on implementing camera-based traffic enforcement with a safety-first approach and revenue allocation for intersection redesign with accessible monitoring data. Which one is that? Is that the proposal?
The first one is.
Oh, actually, they both say proposal.
Yeah, they both say proposal, and they both have the exact same name, basically. Oh, data mine.
The first one though, we want to focus on the first one.
Redesign. So the redesign is the first one on top. And then the second one is the second one in the packet. And then the last one.
Okay, the second one with no accessible monitoring data is the 1 page.
Yes.
Okay, and the last one is it should be the same name, calibrating red light. So just the first 2. So I'm just gonna give you guys some time to look over the first resolution, but I do need a motion, or is there a motion to, for the first resolution regarding with accessible monitoring data?
Motion for discussion.
Motion?
Motion for discussion because I wanna know more about it. Can you explain more about it?
Wait, I do need a second. Mr. Rojas?
Anybody want a second?
Motion, is there a second?
Motion for discussion?
Mr. Bhatti seconds, and we can open up for discussion.
So the first one is, I'm rewriting it. But basically is, they plan on putting 200 red light cameras all over the island. At $250 a ticket, and if he gives you 1 ticket per, car going through the intersection, we're looking at roughly $15 million per year just for School Street and Kalihi. Times that by 200 that they're looking at, that's $15 billion a year. If they plan on just making money just from intersections, or if they're saying it's so dangerous, why don't we have that money and redesign these intersections? And that's what I'm trying to work on. I'm having problems with the first one. I gotta reword it a couple more times. But this is my first draft, and then this is how I try to reword it, the second part of it. I'm gonna submit this one for next month. This is one of my draft, but I'm just letting you guys know what this one is.
Will we have a completed draft next time?
Yeah, for this one, it'll be a completed draft for next meeting.
So this is a discussion or representation?
This is just a discussion at the moment. So I'm just letting you guys know what I'm trying to implement. Basically, whatever revenue that they have, let's fix the intersection before we move on and implement more red light cameras around the island. Use the money that they're collecting from this to fix the intersection. If it's so dangerous, right, why are we just leaving it? It is, it's broken, right? If a car has safety problems, you recall the car, right? You don't leave cars there, and if the car has safety problems, you don't find the person because maybe the airbag went off, right? Well, the airbag went off, that means you were driving bad. We're gonna fine you for $250 because the airbag went off, right? We don't do that, but that's what they're doing with us. So let's fix the intersection, that's the first one. Can I move in the second one?
Well, if we're gonna just talk about the first one and not pass it or have it as a final, we'll move on to the second resolution
Okay.
regarding resolution on implementing, or should I read this one? So implementing camera-based traffic enforcement. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
Just, again, motion for discussion.
Mr. Rojas motions, is there a second? Mr. Gatti seconds, we could open for discussion.
So this one is actually completed. And this is saying if they're gonna be putting in, these red light cameras, right? How do we know that they're properly calibrated? How do we know that they're properly working, right? We just get a ticket in the mail. It doesn't matter if you're driving, if your car's stolen, whatnot. But basically what this is saying is, how do we know when we go to court because we got a ticket that it was being monitored and calibrated daily? The police officers, when they use their laser, they have to bring documents saying that I calibrated this day. We sent it off to a third party to get the laser calibrated. We don't have any of that with these red light cameras. We don't even get to talk to the person who's issuing the tickets, nothing like that. So what this one is saying is, not only is it, we want it monitored and documented,
Yeah.
but increase the speed limit from 5 miles an hour above speed limit to 10, right? Why is it at 5 miles an hour, right? So that's what this resolution is doing. This one wasn't my idea. It was another neighborhood board suggestion, this one. And this one was someone else asked me to write these two.
Yeah, so this traffic light, I mean this light, this camera.
Uh-huh.
So this camera, it's on the state side, so who's benefiting from it? And city is giving the ticket.
City.
And then the camera is on the state.
Yeah, so the
where is
state
this-
state gets the money.
Oh, the
As
state
far
gets
as
the money. That's Donna.
She's not on.
Where's
Oh, no, she is. Donna. Or Kathy.
Senator Kim?
Go ahead.
Does the state get the money from the red light cameras?
The state gets all of the funding from any tickets because it has to go to the courts and adjudicated in the courts. So the city and the police do not get any of the ticket money. The other reason for that is that the entity that gives the tickets don't get the money because then they'd be incentivized to just go out and try to keep raising more money by just ticketing as many people as they can. So that's the other reason they, historically, that they never got the funding, but the funding do go to support the courts.
And that's where 100% of the fund is going for the court system.
It goes, yeah, for the law enforcement and court system, and then the legislature allocates the funding as well, so.
Because I'm trying to write a resolution for the money to improve the intersections instead of just leaving it there for, collect money.
Depending on the intersection, if it's a state or county, the counties put in monies for road improvements under their Department of Transportation, and then the state, also Hawaii State Department of Transportation, and they will also seek federal funding for any road improvements.
So, well, the one that I put up for discussion is my idea, to use the funding to help fix these intersections. If they're so dangerous, right? We should fix it. If it's a public safety.
It should be fixed, whether or not the fees go to the intersection or not. But if it's an intersection that is not safe, it's causing accidents, which is why DOT has gone in and analyzed some of these intersections and put in no right turn on red, putting in the red light cameras to try to deter some of the bad actors from making it unsafe.
So is that how they're selected then? It's based on how many accidents?
It's based on, and we did provide the formula in the past, but it's based on the traffic count, accident count, and how big that intersection, because some intersections like the Liki Liki one has so many patterns that go through as well. So yeah, it's a combination of all of those things, the history of the area. And pedestrians, how many pedestrians cross as well.
Thank you.
Just want to confirm, is it the one page or the 2 page?
Well,
It's the one page, right?
It's the whereas is in the front, and then the what we're requesting is in the back on this one.
I'm just reconfirming that this is the
Yeah.
correct one we're looking at. Okay.
So this is about implementing the guidelines for the cameras on that part. And then the second one, or the third one, the last one, these are two that we could vote for tonight, or we could table it for next month, that's up to you.
Yeah, reserve for next month.
Both of them.
Yeah, so we can.
Can we do that like as a combined? Okay, I guess to.
Or maybe carry those documents.
Yeah. Okay, well, so we could do a vote then to table this for next month, so that way you guys have more time to read about it, and then,
But do you want me to explain the last one?
Yeah.
Oh,
After we vote for the second.
okay, after we vote for this second.
Okay.
So
So we
if you guys
can
want, well, we're gonna vote on whether to table this for next month. They don't have to do a motion right now. Okay,
Oh, wait, they already did the motion.
okay.
Now we just give.
So then the decision is to table it for next month.
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay. And then any nays, any abstaining? Hearing none. Okay. Thank you, everyone. And now we'll move on to the last resolution on implementing implement a resolution to calibrating red light and traffic signal camera using federal rules with daily and monthly calibration. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Oh, Mr. Rojas motion, any second? Mr. Gatti second. Any discussion? Or is that?
So this one also wasn't my idea. This is from a different council member, from a different district. She asked me to write this. But this is actually about the traffic signal itself. And she wanted very detailed, she wanted formulas involved in here. So this one took me the longest, and this is the longest one in here. But basically, physics thrown in here, time, motion, speed, all that stuff. So I threw all that formula in here, pulled up the federal regulations, and basically it's saying for the changing of the signals, right, using the physics and all that other stuff, is the light properly calibrated? Is it going from green to yellow to red? Is there proper enough time for you to slow down and stop according to the speed coming up to it? And this is just ensuring that all these cameras that we have, these speeding cameras at, is properly calibrated. And how often do we calibrate it, right? Because if they're asking us to do one thing, but their red light cameras are off, whose fault is it? Is it our fault, or is it the state's fault, the city's fault?
What is the current regulation?
Well, we don't know, right?
So, the information you got that you included in your resolution, those are federal highway standards. So being that, I guess the state designed the highways following those standards?
They should have, but you gotta remember, like, a lot of these roads, right, were designed for smaller cars, slower cars, and lighter cars.
So, but anyway, these are standards that we assume the state used to design the roads, the traffic lights, street lights, road width, whatever. I mean, the whole thing was designed following some kind of government standard. We all do that, build our house, build our roads.
But those roads were all, these roads, most of them are built back in the 50s and 60s.
So there's
So
some,
the standards have
right,
changed over
so
a
we
period
gotta
of
get
time.
rules that, mandate upgrading the standards, right, to address current, capacity, current needs, right? Okay, so, well, what I was gonna get at is, if somebody get hurt on a road and they hire a lawyer, the lawyer will use all this information to sue the state because they never comply to the general accepted design standards.
This is all public information, that's
Right,
all about
yeah.
all this, right?
So we just, I guess, reintroducing stuff that the state is supposed to be complying with. Yeah.
But is there room for improvement? So like, for example,
Do we?
like the speed limit, for example? Because like, if they put the speed limit sign before the camera too close, no more time for, like what you were saying, no more time to slow down. So then we're gonna get caught. Can we improve that for resolution to make the speed limit further ahead?
That's what I'm trying to do with this. I'm having problems, you know.
So would that be a suggestion?
Yeah.
To your resolution?
So that's why I'm reworking this.
That's why I wanted
a little
to
bit.
sit down and read on this.
Yeah, well, I think we need to know what they currently do to know how to improve it, right?
But resolutions is only suggestions for the legislator to adopt.
So with these three, I'm not just.
So it's going to the state.
Yeah, because with these three here, I'm not just introducing it to you guys. So first I pass it to you guys.
Yeah.
Couple other neighborhood boards are also on board with this, and we're all involved with this. And then we're going to introduce it, and we're picking a couple of people to physically work on this and introduce it next year. And trying to see if we can get a bill passed on one of these. I'm not doing this just willy-nilly and just doing, asking for a camera or, trying to do this and just introducing things. I'm actually putting time and effort behind this. And I've actually reached out to several neighborhood boards on their suggestions and even the NCO on this, on his opinion on all these things. And that's the reason why I tabled this one for now to rewrite it.
And also let's table this so that we can know about it.
Yeah, so, but I'm
further
introducing this to you, so it's not something that we're just gonna pass it. And hopefully, one of them will eventually pick it up. We're actually gonna go there and we're gonna introduce it. Maybe Donna McCarthy will help sponsor the bill, I don't know. I'll talk to her eventually, we'll see. Maybe if I'm being nice to her, oh, she can't see me. Maybe she will.
Let me just comment. First of all, your resolution needs to have at the end, be it resolved as to what is it that you are asking for? Are you asking for the DOT to follow the federal standards, which I believe they cannot get federal funds if they don't follow the federal standards? There are outdated streets that they don't want to absorb, like some streets in Kalihi, some small streets, because they don't meet city standards or state standards, so they don't get picked up. But again, the resolutions need to state what it is you're looking for. It doesn't necessarily mean that we can pass a law to put within that not advising, but once we put something into a law, then it's in the books forever. So if things change, you got to go in and change the law again. That's not an easy thing to do. So to put standards that keep changing based on the federal guidelines is not necessarily something that they would introduce and put into law. But you can introduce a resolution to urge departments to do certain things. Again, as Mr. Kumalai brought up, it's just a request and a suggestion, doesn't mean it gets followed. It just urges that department to do that. And again, some of these measures not necessarily could be put into any legislation. So you got to keep that in mind when you're looking at resolutions.
So, well, as I said, I'm working with a couple other neighborhood boards and we're working on, I know this is gonna get changed. Two of them was not my idea. The one that I'm working on for improvement of certain intersections for, with red cameras.
But again, who is that resolution directed to? And for what purpose? For what reason?
Well, I'm
If
assuming.
it's directed to the legislature to fix the intersection, we don't have that power. We have to go through DOT or DTS. We would have to possibly put the funding in, or they would have to come in and request the funding. Again, so there's a lot of moving parts to that. So again, that's why resolutions do not have the effect of law. And you have to be kind of certain as to what departments and what you're directing the entity to do. So keep
Could
that
I
in mind.
schedule-
as you do resolution.
Could I schedule a time with you just to discuss this a little bit more? Is that possible? I know you're busy this summer.
Certainly it's possible. I am busy. I will be on
Traveling quite a bit.
legislative conferences as of late this month. I go to Milwaukee and then I go to DC and then I go to Portugal. So I will be traveling on legislative business, not at the cost of the state because these entities pay for us, just so you know. But it's possible you can meet with my staff. But again, that's basic. You know, when you do a resolution, at the end, it's be it resolved. What is it you're trying to resolve? And who is it directed to?
So, I have more. So it would be more for like, I guess for me, from understanding the situation, it would be my concern for the drivers that, you know, we're gonna get ticketed because if we don't know the speed limit before we get to the intersection and we gotta speed up for a yellow light, I mean, we're not supposed to, but it's too late to stop, then the speed limit should be, you know, like ahead of us. But how do you fix that situation in a solution? How can we
That's something that you'd have to talk with Department of Transportation. You guys can invite them to come to your board and to share as to what is the requirements as far as how much lag time you need to be able to comply with the posted speed limit. Okay, so that's one thing. And so that's why even when it says 25 miles, the police would probably not ticket you if you're going 5 miles over. So they have like a leeway to allow you to be able to then comply with the posted speed limit.
Okay, I get the picture. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so invite them to come to the board.
We tried that before and they never showed up.
You have to keep trying, you know, like I said, I have to try for Farrington for decades, so I'm not saying that's gonna take that long, but, and you keep requesting them to show up. You know, if you give me a date that you want them to come, I can always call them and see if they won't show up. I've had HPH show up at the neighborhood boards when you folks have requested them, so, yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Donna.
Thank you. There's no further discussion. We will police. Mr. Coleman.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was gonna bring up, Mr. Sutton, because having read through these things, it doesn't answer the question, what is it that we want done and who do we want to have it done with? And you're going to get jurisdictional issues too, right? We have city roads and state roads. So we gotta know what it is, yeah, so. And that was the first thing I noticed when I was reading through this. Yeah, okay, makes the point as to what it is they're trying to get at, but it doesn't get to the question, what do we want done by whom?
Right. So I asked if it's the city side and also on the state side.
Yeah.
And Mr. Guadalajara?
Maybe we should table it so we can figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll vote to table this. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Any abstain? Hearing none. Thank you. And we will move on to approval of regular meeting minutes, Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. Can I get a motion?
Second motion.
Second, Mr. Rojas. Are there any discussions for regular meeting minutes of Wednesday, April 9th, 2025? There is no further discussions. We can start a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Any abstain? Hearing none, thank you very much. And last but not least, I want to have approval of the certificate of recognition for Chester Koga.
Aye.
Okay, we can skip. Who gives a motion?
Aye.
Mr. Sun, a second. Mr. Luelamaga. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? The motion is carried. Thank you so much. This is 10 years now. It's 2015, so I really wanted to get in this certificate. I don't know why I'm proud. I'm not We're gonna have a group picture.
We're gonna have a group picture. We'll be eating Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll be eating too. Yes, almost
Hey,
too.
I wanted to say something about Chester.
Yes.
When I came, he was here.
Yeah.
Oh, so 10 years. Yeah,
10
I
years.
can't
I
remember.
looked back at the minutes.
Yeah, so he was here a while. Wow, before I came, he was here. But one thing I like to say about Mr. Koga, he don't say too much, but when he, we go around the discussion, joining our 2 cents, in my mind, I was always thinking about, okay, Mr. Koga going to wrap this thing up when he joined his 25 cents. And I couldn't figure out, I was trying to figure out your career. When we discuss something, you can discuss it like an engineer. He know building standards and all that stuff. So I thought, hey, he must be an engineer. Then the next time we talk about something, he talk about budget, finance, and one day I'm thinking, hey, maybe he might be an accountant. Today, he talked about the history of sidewalks and all that. So I think, hey, he must be a historian. So, Mr. Koga, I'd like to ask you, what was your career?
My career, I started off as a city planner. Okay, not with the city though, with a private sector, working for the largest engineering firm in the state. Yeah, so that's why I know a lot about the engineering side, because I needed to know all of that. And about the money side, I worked for the Legislative Reference Bureau. Okay, and for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a research arm for the legislature. Okay, they're the guys who does that. And I did my stint for a budget analyst for Senator back then, Gene King. Yeah, so I've been around the block a few times.
Yeah. Thank you so much for
All I know is you're one smart guy. Thank you for serving. Thank you for serving and sharing that all that background.
So now that you're officially retiring, what you gonna do? Huh? Now that you're officially retiring.
Oh, I'm not officially retiring. I just decided that for this next 2 years in that wasn't good. I didn't feel like I was wanting to do more, but I'm going to be around in the community, and I will let you guys know if you guys are on the wrong track.
Thank you. Need that. Thank you so much for being here in person as well. And next thing is the committee reports and assignments. If there are no reports for that at this moment, we can move on.
I have one for my committee.
Oh, okay, Mr. Ross.
Yeah, well, it's not a committee yet, but it's neighborhood security watch. It's encourage your neighbors in your areas to sign up, so I can put them on the list, and then we can get a class, and we can have more people involved in the community.
Can we figure out when you're gonna have your class so we could attend?
So what happened is I'm putting all the names together and then so much, so that we can open up. I will ask the councilman to, and then also at the same time as the policing team to open up Kalihi Valley Elementary School for that. And also, I'm in the process of hopefully we'll create a cleanup crew for Kalihi Valley. So I need help. I cannot do it by myself.
Actually, with the neighbor watch thing, table that idea just for a little bit, work with Kalihi Valley homes.
Yeah.
And then after that, we get those groups, then we do a class after that.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Right,
Thank you.
so.
That's
But
it.
you can put my name in, I was just waiting for your
Okay.
class.
Yep.
Thank you. And
I know I mentioned it before, but yeah.
Thank you so much. And next is other reports. So my chair report. I just wanted to note that for board members elect who are re-elected to 2025 to 2027, if you haven't done so already, please RSVP by 3 p.m. tomorrow. I just want to note that if you haven't already. I know I realized today I was like, oh, I got RSVP now. So do it by tomorrow, 3 p.m. Announcement, next meeting is Wednesday, July 9, 2025 at 7 p.m. at Kapala Mahale, room 153, which is this room. Broadcast meetings, neighborhood board meetings air on Alelo Channel 49 on the fourth Saturday of the month at 6 p.m. and the first and third Sunday of the month at 9 a.m. Are there any more announcements, Mr.
Yeah, I just wanted to invite everyone. Party of the Mount, we're celebrating our 155th anniversary. So August 17th is the day of our celebration. Farrington High School football team will be traveling to Kapa'a and Las Vegas. And so Coach asked if I could make the announcement. We did make the announcement to everyone, but we wanted to invite the Kalihi community to come with us. We're mainly going to go through Las Vegas, so Liberty High School. That's going to be September 19th in Las Vegas, which is a Friday. And so we're calling all governors to come out and support the boys of Kalihi. But that's the two announcements I wanted to invite everyone to come to.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
Father, are you back already? I know you was traveling.
No, but I'll make the announcement later, because right now it's like 9:30, I didn't know we were going over. Let's see first.
Yes, and if there are no more announcements, then this meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much. And then we will turn up the heat.